be your star chaser, be your human nature. So tell me, are you ready for the fire, for the fire?
제가 경고를 해놓긴 했는데 경고를 무시하는 또 조가 나온다면 응당 합당한 벌을 주고 싶네요. 저는. 제 조에 대한 구상은 100% 완료를 했는데 황병영, 윤찬이, 이영환 그 3명입니다.
첫 번째로 가서 그냥 좀 이렇게 저도 한번 뽑아보고 싶어가지고
일단 제가 먼저 들어가 있을게요, 형.
형이 먼저 갈게. 뭐.
아우가 먼저. 네. 흐뭇하게 좀 바라보고 있는 이재호 선수예요.
순서를 정하는 거거든요.
원래 생각했던 황병영 선수로 뽑기로 결정을 했습니다.
같은 조에서 같이 올라갔으면 좋겠어요. 저희 이제 많이 게임 알려주셨어가지고 승을 이긴 제자로 제가 한번 해보고 싶습니다.
저는 무조건 저그 뽑습니다. 그리고 그 저그가 또 저그 뽑아줬으면 좋겠어요.
저그가 저그를 뽑는다면 이 3명 중에 저밖에 없을 것 같아서 그래서 제가 뽑히면 호선이 형이 윤찬이를 뽑을 수 있는 명분이 생겨요. 왜냐면은 선수를 2명 다 데려갈 수는 없으니까.
아니 근데 이영환 씨는 아까 전에 그 조에 좀 만족하시지 않았나요? 갑자기 또 여기서 탈출을 하려고.
3테란 조여서 만족했는데 생각해보니까 여기 보니까 3저그 원토스 조면 이게 더 좋은 것 같아요. 저는 개인적으로.
그냥 가요.
순리대로 가고 있다. 예, 본인이 선포한 그 명단에 손이 대어지지 않았거든요.
그룹 A조에 조지명이 좀 이어지게 되는 상황인데요.
저는 지금 제 하나뿐인 동생을 뽑으려고.
이럴 거면 저 집에 있는 게 낫지 않았을까.
네.
동생이 직접 가가지고
네.
붙이고 가는 걸로.
아우.
자, 이렇게 와 가족이 만났습니다. 너무 화목해 보이는데요. 오늘 저녁을 뭐 먹을까 이렇게 고민하고 있는 형제들의 모습처럼.
일단 영환이 형이 오고 싶은지 좀 궁금하긴 해요.
네, A조 괜찮은 것 같아요. 지금 안정적으로 A조에 안착하겠습니다.
이게
와 소화. 와.
소화에서
야.
배출까지.
야, 그 누구도 이 가족들의 상봉에 방해를 하지 않았습니다.
아, 그렇습니다.
예상했던 거고 마음의 준비를 해왔기 때문에 저희 3명이서 2등을 노릴 것 같은데 잘 준비를 해보겠습니다.
절대권자 이재호 선수의 그 선택 시간이 좀 기다리고 있습니다.
A 그룹은 만족할 만한 수준으로 짜졌고요. 제가 약속한 게 있기 때문에
그 약속대로 가네. 와. 야, 은혜 갚은 이재호.
저는 제조의 3테란 원적을 만들고 싶었고 이제 도재욱 씨를 위한 조를 만들고 싶었고 그리고 장윤철 씨를 견제하고 싶었기 때문에 3저가 됐으면 했는데 그까지 다 됐어요. 오늘 제가 원하는 시나리오는 다 만든 것 같아서 너무 만족스럽습니다.
이재호 선수 조가 펼쳐지게 되는데 거기서 좀 살아남을 선수들이 누가 될지요.
나의 레벨은 다르다. 어나더 레벨 핫식스와 함께하는 ASL 시즌 14 16강 개막전 경기로 인사드립니다. 안녕하세요. 이영경입니다. 자, 오늘은 탑시드 이재호 선수가 만든 A조 경기가 여러분을 기다리고 있습니다. 3테란 1조그 과연 어떤 선수들은 어떤 마음을 가지고 있을지 선수들과 함께하시죠. 안녕하세요. 반갑습니다.
안녕하세요.
네, 이재호 선수 안녕하세요.
네, 안녕하세요.
일단 A조에 대한 만족감은 최상이실 것 같습니다.
아, 네네.
연습 과정 역시 조만큼이나 만족스러우셨는지가 가장 궁금해요.
연습 과정도 뭐 순조로웠던 것 같고요. 오늘 일단 떨어진다는 생각 안 하고 준비 철저하게 해왔습니다.
100% 자신감을 풀 충전해온 이재호 선수인데요. 이영환 선수와도 이야기를 좀 나눠볼까요? 안녕하세요.
네, 안녕하세요.
자, 이영환 선수 유일한 저그입니다. 24강과는 또 16강 분위기가 조금은 다르게 느껴지실 것 같은데요. 소감은 어떠신가요?
어떻게 보면 좀 3테란 조에 있어가지고 되게 불쌍해 보이는 조처럼 보일 수 있는데 생각보다 테란전만 준비하면 돼가지고 별로 어렵진 않았던 것 같아요.
또 3테란에 맞서는 이 마음가짐이 좀 남달랐을 것 같은데
네.
아무래도 이 3명의 테란의 스타일이 또 다 다르기 때문에
네.
이 맞춤을 어떻게 해야 할지에 대한 고민도 좀 굉장하셨을 것 같아요. 이영환 선수가 분석한 이 세 테란의 스타일은 어떤가요? 먼저 이재호 선수 어떤 테란 스타일인가요?
재호 형 같은 경우는 진짜 무난하게 정석적으로 잘하는 스타일이고 병영이 같은 경우가 좀 공격적으로 이제 많이 게임하는 스타일이고 이제 몽이를 많이 분석했거든요. 이 친구는 게임 속에서도 많이 먹어요. 그냥 일단 커맨드 짚고 보는 그런
네.
친구여가지고 멀티 잘 찾아다녀야 될 것 같아요.
24강에서 굉장히 탐욕적으로
네.
많이 먹는 또 빌드를 보여주셨기 때문에
네.
그거에 대한 분석을 좀 해오신 것 같은데 이재호 선수는 A조가 만들어지고 보니 시즌 9 16강 혹시 기억하실까요? 4테란 주었거든요.
아니요, 기억나지 않아요. 네.
기억나지 않습니까?
네.
그때도 지금과 비슷하게 테란이 굉장히 많은 주였는데 그때와 지금은 뭐 우승 커리어도 생겼고 자신감이나 실력적인 면에서도 좀 다르게 느껴지실 것 같은데요.
일단 아무래도 일단 그 새로운 시즌에 들어가면 맵들이 일단 분석이 덜 됐기 때문에 좀 동족전을 선호하는 경향들이 있는데 그래서 뭐 그때에 비하면 일단 자신감은 확실히 충만하죠.
황병영 선수와도 이야기를 좀 나눠보겠습니다. 안녕하세요.
네, 안녕하세요.
또 이재호 선수가 본인이 원하는 대로 좀 빠르게 뽑아줬고 또 본인이 원하는 윤찬희 선수도 데려왔습니다. 황병영 선수가 생각하는 A조에 대한 만족도 몇 % 정도일까요?
거의 제일 좋은 조라고 생각을 하고요. 여기서 떨어지면 진짜 제가 8강 올라갈 수 있는 좋은 조라고 생각을 해요. 그래서 열심히 준비했습니다.
이재호 선수 못지않은 자신감을 또 황병영 선수 챙겨서 오늘 경기를 앞두고 계신 것 같은데 윤찬희 선수와도 좀 이야기를 나눠볼까요?
네.
자, 24강에서 힘겨운 경기 끝에 오랜만에 또 16강에 복귀하는 데 성공하셨습니다. 조지명식에서 이 순환 아닌 순환을 많이 겪으셨는데 16강 경기 앞두고 계신 소감은 좀 어떠세요?
일단은 제가 16강 올라왔을 때 그때 옛날 기억으로 영호랑 같은 조였었거든요. 그때는 좀 힘들다는 느낌이었는데 제가 생각했을 때는 재호 형한테도 할만하다라고 생각하고 있어요.
윤찬희 선수 팬분들은 오늘 굉장한 기대를 갖고 아마 경기를 지켜보실 것 같습니다. 8강에서 경기하는 모습을 그리워하실 것 같아요. 그래서 5년 전인 시즌 3가 윤찬희 선수의 8강 마지막 경기였는데
네.
오늘은 확실히 좀 도전자의 입장에서 극복할 것들이 좀 있을 것 같은데 자신감은 일단 챙겨오신 것 같은데 연습 과정은 좀 어땠나요?
일단 연습은 그냥 닥치는 대로 게임을 많이 했고 시간 나는 데마다 게임을 했고 그냥 좀 피지컬을 좀 끝까지 끌어올렸습니다. 그리고 이제 조에서 영환이 형도 사실 제가 고커리어에 갈 수 있는 그 계단에서 영환이 형한테 지고 영환이 형도 그때 고커리어를 달성을 했거든요. 그래서
네.
오늘 영환이 형한테 갚아야 될 그런 것도 있고 오늘 좀 여러모로 이겨야 되는 그런 날입니다. 저한테.
윤찬희 선수만의 스토리가 또 만들어질 수 있는 좋은 기회이기 때문에 아마 많은 것들을 준비해 오셨을 것 같은데요. 팬분들은 이 A조 선수들에게 어떤 점이 궁금하셨을지 좀 체크해 드리겠습니다. 먼저 황병영 선수가 조지명식을 통해서도 이재호 선수에게 많이 또 배움을 얻었다. 스승을 이기는 제자의 모습을 보여주고 싶다라고 밝히기도 하셨는데요. 이것에 대한 공략법을 충분히 갖춰 오셨을까요?
일단 재호 형이 너무 워낙 좀 단단한 테란이어서 뭐 빌드 솔직히 뭐 좀 센 게 없더라고요. 그래서 그냥 연습한 대로 그냥 한번 부딪혀 보려고 그렇게 해서 연습을 했습니다.
이재호 선수는 윤찬희 선수가 청출어람 스승을 이기겠다라는 좀 각오를 가지고 오셨는데 황병영 선수에게 여러 가르침을 주면서 좀 날 이길 수도 있겠네라는 좀 위협감 느낀 적 있으실까요?
일단 제가 가르쳐준 게 테란 대 테란전을 가르쳐주지는 않았어요. 그래서 뭐 그런 생각은 해본 적은 없고 오늘 꼭 제가 1등으로 가야지 또 이 남은 3명 선수들도 미련 없이 할 것 같아서 변수 없이 오늘 꼭 1등으로 진출을 해보고 싶습니다.
많은 분들이 또 이재호 선수의 1위 진출을 예상하고 계셔서 이재호 선수도 그에 걸맞는 좀 경기력을 보여주고 싶으실 것 같은데 자 이제 이영환 선수에게 질문을 드리겠습니다. 윤찬희 선수도 언급을 했습니다. 5년 전 8강에서 이 땅굴 저그를 선사한 이영환 선수거든요. 오늘도 윤찬희 선수의 이 기로에 좀 위협이 될 만한 빌드 보따리 준비되셨을까요?
일단 준비는 많이 했고요. 원래 제가 좀 선수 때부터 좀 상성 관계가 좀 뚜렷했었어요. 제가 잘 못 이기는 선수는 잘 못 이겼는데 또 곧잘 이기는 선수는 곧잘 이겼기 때문에 오늘 확실히 그 관계를 굳히도록 하겠습니다.
굳히기에 들어가겠다. 이 마지막으로 대다수의 팬분들이 사실상 이재호 선수는 무조건 1위로 진출을 할 것 같고 남은 3명의 선수들이 2위 진출을 놓고 경쟁을 치르지 않을까라고 생각을 하고 계시는 것 같은데요. 그렇다면 본인의 진출 가능성 어느 정도로 점치고 계실지 윤찬희 선수의 대답을 좀 들어보고 싶네요.
저는 한 50%요. 그냥 제가 오늘 제 컨디션 나오면 올라갈 것 같고, 안 나오면 떨어질 것 같고, 네, 그냥 반반 정도 봅니다.
자, 네 분 모두 자신감을 풀 충전하고 오신 것 같은데 경기력이 굉장히 기대됩니다. 끝으로 네 선수에게 각오를 한마디씩 들어보겠습니다. 황병혁 선수 한 말씀 해주시죠.
오늘 준비 진짜 열심히 많이 했으니까 경기력 기대해 주시고 좀 재밌는 게임 많이 나왔으면 좋겠습니다.
네, 좋습니다. 윤찬희 선수.
네, 준비 저도 많이 했고 얘기 들어보니까 다 제가 쟁쟁하게 많이 한 것 같아요. 그래서 오늘 되게 재밌을 것 같습니다. 네.
좋습니다. 이영환 선수 한 말씀 해주시죠.
네, 오랜만에 올라온 16강인 만큼 이영환다운 게임 하고 가겠습니다.
기대하겠습니다. 마지막으로 이재호 선수.
일단 오늘 제가 짠 조기 때문에 반드시 1등으로 진출하겠습니다.
네, 네 분 멋진 경기 기대하겠습니다. 선수들 인터뷰 감사합니다. 자, 이렇게 16강 경기의 문을 열 A조 선수들과 함께 이야기 나눠봤습니다. 과연 8강 진출 그 스타트를 끊을 선수들은 어떤 선수가 될지 ASL 시즌14 16강 A조 경기 지금부터 함께 하시죠.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another day of the ASL. Today, we start the round of 16. It should be sick, and I'm just happy things are picking back up over here. We could start these recordings again.
I know. The group selection is great and all, but this is where the tournament gets very, very interesting, right? We start getting some best of threes mixed in there as well. We're really cutting out the chaff. Not that ASL has much chaff in it, but these are the best of the best, and we're going to have some sick matches in this round.
Yeah, and we've got some interesting players to follow here today. The one I'm actually most curious about as far as how he's going to perform is going to be Shine here. He is, for me as a caster, he's one of the hardest players to predict if he's going to move on or not, because sometimes he pulls off like the craziest stunts ever, and then other times, he just kind of gets outmaneuvered. But, all these guys, Light, Barracks, Mong, they're all crazy good players. This is really the Tastosis group here with all the TVTs he's so excited to cast.
Oh, dude. Oh, for sure. And I think it's actually hilarious that Light chose Barracks to start. Actually, one of my favorite pieces of StarCraft content I've seen this year, Tasteless, was Light teaching Barracks on stream. Like, he had Barracks come over his house, and then he, critiqued him. I watched, the whole VOD twice, because Light is, 400 times better than Barracks. It's, actually quite comical. And the fact that now he's chosen him to destroy him here in this round, I think that this group, Light easily going to advance. Who is going to get that second spot, though? That's a much harder thing to tell.
It's a tough one, which I always welcome. I know some people, prefer to have non-mirror matchups, but I think it's going to be an interesting round of 16 to see who survives here. Another thing to note is that Shine only has one matchup to practice for. He is basically the cheesiest of the Zergs. And cheesy not by just attacking early like Soma does a lot, but he has a lot of pretty tricky builds. So I'm especially interested in seeing, how many ideas he can come in here with, assuming that he plays the way that he's played before in ASLs.
Yeah. He's got so many different tricks and plans up his sleeves, and the thing about him is that they can go completely flat. Like, if his opponents just kind of figure out what he's doing, a lot of his stuff will just fail, but there's a lot of thought put into it as well. So Shine has that insane upset potential where he can take out almost anyone, but I would say there's probably a small handful of players like Light and like Flash, who he faced in that ASL finals, where it's like, you can't even pull one over on them because they're so good.
Yeah, it's I don't know, man. It's going to be a fun day. Taking a look at Light here, I mean, this is the Terran player right now with Flash out of the picture here, and he's performed just incredibly. He's kind of showing everybody that even when Flash isn't here, Terran can still take an ASL. They can still absolutely do it. I think he's an obvious pick to get out first here. Barracks, I mean, this is, as Tastosis was saying earlier, this is a pretty heavy mismatch here. And you know, I don't know what Barracks is going to do to try to outmaneuver Light here, but I feel like this might be the most straightforward game in the entire group.
Yeah, it could be. I think a lot of it is just going to come down to how well can Barracks really open here. He has to open extremely cleanly and not be behind, because if he falters for a moment against Light is going to completely overwhelm him.
Yeah, I would agree with that for sure. Barracks, though, a great player. I would say he's on the up and up. He's been steadily improving. Light does seem to be very comfortable, you know, in TVT, and he seems to have a very I'm trying to think of the best way to say this. He just steadily continues to get further ahead. He doesn't seem to have a lot of these swing games like Sharp or these short games like Flash does, where Flash seems to just kind of dismantle people in 10 minutes. He's got a steady kind of powering TVT where he just ekes out further leads and you know, slowly tightens the noose and closes it out. So it's going to be a tough one here for Barracks, I think, especially if Barracks can't get some kind of edge early on here.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a big map. This is a map where it's going to be hard to kind of cheese your opponent anyways. It's really a macro map for Terran versus Terran. Very much about army movement. So we're going to see what Barracks has planned and if he can stand up to Light at all. So we have Light there in the top right. And in the bottom right, we're going to have Barracks. All right. So just both kind of sharing this side. Nothing, you know, positionally, I wouldn't really say that there's a huge difference. Like, Barracks has a slight advantage positionally, but it's probably not something that will come into play.
Yeah, and oh, look, it's Sharp in the audience.
Yeah, look at that. Well, he's rooting on the the best Terran group, right?
Yeah. This is definitely, if you're Sharp, this is definitely a good group to follow and to watch here. So, yeah, we've got both players here hugging the right side of the map. In Terran versus Terran, we should see, in these positions on this map, a steady progression of growth on towards the left side. And, yeah, I mean, let's just kind of see what type of play Barracks is going to do, because whenever you have, you know, a mismatch like this that's this big, it's always interesting to see what the underdog thinks is the best play. You know, is it going to be a cheese? Is it some kind of a blind counter to the, you know, as you were saying, Tastosis, you watched them stream together. Is it some kind of a blind counter to, you know, what Light does? A lot of builds have some sort of edge if you knew what they were going to do ahead of time to come in and punish. Not that Light's a guy that has one or two ways of playing, but you know what I'm saying. So yeah, I'm more interested to see, you know, how does Barracks try to play this against who very well may be the best player of this season, certainly of last season.
Well, what I would actually guess is exactly what he's doing here. Yeah, the command center first, because Light doesn't open with things like center barracks. There's literally no point, because he can have like a disadvantage like that. Now, obviously, you know, going for a factory expansion like he is going to be slightly disadvantaged against this. In fact, I would consider this a pretty heavy disadvantage, but the thing is, it's Light. So this is not so much an issue for him. You know, players like Light and like Flash, well, actually, let me just correct that. Light and Flash can play against anything with anything in this matchup.
Oh, it seems like it for sure. Now, this is a fortunate scout here for Light. Scouting them command center first on your first scout is way different than getting it on your last scout, for example. I don't know, and maybe you do, Artosis, as the Terran player here, but I don't know if there's any subtle alterations that Light might want to make upon the immediate discovery of command center and barracks on the low ground that maybe he could create some opportunities for himself here. What do you think?
Well, I know the way that Light plays specifically, and generally what he will end up doing in this type of position is he will just take a command center as quickly as he can and get mines, which is very, like, kind of counterintuitive, I think, for a Terran player, because you have literally zero potential to deal damage if you do something like Vulture Mines here, and if your opponent goes Vultures, they just have more. But I swear, that's something I've seen him do plenty of times against Command Center first. So he actually took all of his SCVs off gas, he threw down the Command Center as quickly as he could, and, I mean, he's putting on pressure with one Marine, but what's he going to get? One SCV, possibly?
I think he's not even going to get one there. He's going to gun down that Marine. And honestly, this was a pretty impressive parry of the attack here by Barracks. And so we should have that Vulture inbound now. Did the bunker start a second too late, though?
I think it's like maybe just some time, but the SCV is hurt, so he might actually snipe it. If that was a full health SCV, oh god.
Oh.
He ran past? Oh my god, if anything had gone wrong there, that would not have worked. And now he's killed all 3 Marines, and he'll get probably at least 1 SCV here, but it's hard to imagine too much more than that.
Yeah, in theory, you could micro this Vulture endlessly, but it's so hard to just never be touched. And so that last Marine comes in here. Okay, so not bad by Light, to be honest. It looked like for a second there that was not going to pan out, but he kind of clutched that at the very end. And did get a couple SCV kills, did force some SCVs off.
And the 3 Marines as well. Like, that forces a lot. It's lost mining time also. Like, already looking at this, Light has... I mean, I think he's basically already made parity at least, which is insane, because normally in this type of position, you're just looking at being down like 5 SCVs or something, which is pretty massive, and then your opponent gets quicker factories, and you're in trouble. And here, Barracks is starting to... Like, he looks flustered. He's got 2 extra SCVs on gas in his main. Or he did until just now.
Yeah, I was going to point that out. If you didn't, like, not the end of the world, but, like, these are things that are worth focusing on when you get, like, the best levels of play. It just, he's not quite managing all the things that you have to do at any level. At a low ladder level, you certainly can't allow... 5 SCVs on gas, for instance. But he does make that adjustment. He's back in there. I like this. The tank does outrange the bunker. I think that for a lot of people, they see the tank and because of the nature of siege mode and the fact that it's designed to be a weapon that can kind of pelt bases from a distance, it's easy to forget that you can actually outrange a lot of stuff with a tank without siege mode, and that includes a bunker.
Yeah, and it does force siege mode here from Barracks. He gets that siege. Light has already seen that there is a starport too, I believe. I saw that Barracks fly pretty deep into the main base. So, like, Light's position is pretty solid. Like, all he has to do is get a Goliath down here to deal with this Wraith. And out come a couple tanks with 3 Marines. So I like this push a lot from Barracks, just kind of getting Light off his back so he can't just siege up suddenly at that bunker.
So is it possible to push this from where Light is? I mean, I always feel like this would have made up for a more slower game, but it seems like I was completely off on that, and that this is actually like a pretty action-packed game where like Barracks is just trying to ensure that his earlier base doesn't get punished here. I mean, the tanks and Goliaths are just out of range. He's going to come in right as the Barracks is about to be picked off here. He does do a really good split there on the targeting, and he does it again. Really good job here. Wow, and that's
silly to see. Like, I can't even believe what we just looked at there. That's kind of crazy that he just busted 2 tanks and the Wraith, losing almost nothing.
I mean, he even saves the Barracks, which is kind of crazy. Like, that spotter Barracks, and there's a spotter Barracks as well, because you can see it's being attacked over here for Barracks, or Barracks is being attacked is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, like it's kind of crazy that he pulled that off and saved the Barracks, and he has a 2-tank count lead. There's only one add-on right now for Barracks. That's not wrong or anything, but it also is bad versus the 2 add-ons that we now have for Light. He already had a substantial tank lead. I think when the next tank or 2 come down here, he might actually be able to just crack this open and take Barracks out in a pretty quick game.
Yeah, it is a possibility with the amount that he has, and that Barracks still sitting there. Now, the dropship is coming out. This is literally the only chance for Barracks is to get something done with this dropship. We'll see. Maybe he can pick off a good amount of SCVs in that main base or something, but right now, this just looks pretty bad, pretty tough for Barracks.
Okay, so this drop is extremely important. It's going to kill a lot of SCVs. 3 Vultures can one-shot an SCV. I mean, this is the kind of optimal number, but it's going to be immediately met with these 3 Vultures that are going to come out here as well. Now, let's not forget, guys, as good as it is to get some worker kills, this is going to lead to an even smaller army for Barracks, as Light is already so close. What is going on with this eBay? This looks like it's a... Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's an offensive
Dude,
eBay.
I thought it was... I was like, does Light think he's humans in Warcraft 3 and all those SCVs can actually make it build faster? Sorry, I got confused there. All right, that was a cool block, actually. The dropship's going to go down. And
yeah, it's some cute moves from Barracks, but like he's not getting that much done. Look at this. Light immediately comes in with more Vultures. He's going to clear these out. In fact, he's even going to scan, get rid of those mines. I don't think he'll allow any more mines to be laid as well. So we're really like nearing the end right now. In fact, he's just going straight up to Port Wraith right now, which that makes it even worse because right now you're trying to make a lot of siege tanks and you're trying to use a dropship. What are you going to do when he comes down with a bunch of Wraiths?
it's a good question, Tastosis. I gotta say, man, Light has just had such a masterful TVT to start this off. It's kind of crazy to watch. I mean, I'm not that much of a student of Terran, but like I look at this and I'm like, Jesus, man, like you're like winning on every kind of metric here. You know, in spite of Barracks basically having a percentage advantage here with the build order that he picked.
Yeah, the Light just, he knows pretty much everything, right? Like he is, with Flash in the military, Light is the god of Terran right now. And I mean, he's showing it. Barracks is in every single ASL, but you can see that Light is just completely a different level. It's kind of absurd, really. And this is a lot of the beauty of StarCraft. Now, this push is going to come, but I mean, you're not, even if he broke out of here, I think that Light is completely fine.
Mine. Oh, the mine. Wow, okay, so, you know, I kind of surprisingly, he was almost broken free. There's a big wave coming down here from the north to the south for Light, and, you know, when the numbers get a lot smaller here, this is when the Vultures can really do a lot of extra damage. But it looks like Barracks is gonna still be able to push out regardless.
Yeah, like he's breaking free, which is nice. A lot of money has been spent from Light on these Wraiths. So we're going to see what he can actually end up getting done with the Wraiths. They are definitely going to be useful. He's got 6 of them. No cloak as of yet. And I like this move from Barracks to not move too far forward, right? Like he broke out. His supply is solid. He's got a good amount of siege tanks. This is a good time for him to clear this area and get another base going.
Yeah, he's going to be able to snipe the SCV that would be making the command center over here. And if he could actually get that drop ship. Oh, I guess not. Okay, he's just going to go right over here into the main.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to pick off a few more SCVs here. Sees that dropship coming. It seems like Light has molasses in his veins. He just missed 2 dropships in a row. That's like the prime target for Wraiths, right? Is anytime you can kill a dropship, you're like, damn, the Wraiths are paying for themselves quickly.
I mean, that's probably the best thing a Wraith can do, weirdly. You know, that or like snipe a tank. But, you know, dropships die so fast that they can go to the next task pretty quickly here. So 2 tank defense here in the main. Now this, we got to watch this closely because this spider mine could kill a lot of SCVs. It damages quite a bit, but surprisingly, basically everything lives there.
Not too many kills there.
Yeah.
You know, spider mines. These aren't probes, Tasteless. These actually have some health.
Yeah. They could soak a little bit of damage before they get obliterated there. Now, you know, honestly, if Barracks is able to kind of continue on here. He does have more supply, by the way. I don't know the SCV counts. That's a little bit harder to tell here, but I would say this is not anywhere near as bad as it was, maybe 4 minutes ago. I think that this is a very playable position here for Barracks.
Well, it was a clean break out of the natural, which was very, very important. Light going into Wraiths, I don't mind the move, but it did, impede his macro a little bit as far as factory units went, which are stronger on the containment. But now he's utilizing those cloaked Wraiths, right? So that's where he's got to make these Wraiths pay off. But you can almost see how Barracks is ahead in supply and everything now at this point. You can see a lot of the power of Command Center first. It gives you an absurd amount of units.
Yeah, even if it's going to kick in a little bit later, it does pan out very nicely. It's kind of crazy, man. And good call here by Barracks to do that. Barracks, there are some mines 6 o'clock, but for the most part, he's got enough reach on the map here that he's going to be fine. He can start expanding, and we talked about this at the very start of the game, but we're finally at that point where we're going to see each side reach towards the left side of the map, the west side of the map, if you will. So, I don't think anybody on either side can really end the game here. It's going to be one of these Terran versus Terrans that really comes down to kind of a war of attrition here.
Well, they are going to battle for position a little bit. That high ground ramp, super, super, super important. It kind of denies the 3 o'clock base here from Barracks, and might even be something that can be taken a little bit later on, even by Light, if he gains any more ground. But you're right, they're going to start flowing towards the left a little bit and starting to take some of these high ground spots, starting to lay some mines, running the armies around. This is one of the things about Vermeer, is it's so big in the center that you end up running around with a lot of army, which means you can definitely suddenly find yourself in a really powerful position.
Yeah. And this is a big sweep, by the way, coming up here. It looks like Light's going to try to come in and engage it. He is forcing Barracks to siege up. There are a lot of mines here. He's got to be careful. And so he is going to be able to kind of wrap around here. And we've talked about this many times before, but Terran versus Terran, when you get into late game, it does look kind of like a game of Go, where you're both trying to surround each other.
Yeah, it's such an important aspect of it, because the defensive advantage of siege tanks over unsieged siege tanks is so massive, especially if you have on high ground.
Oh, yeah.
It matters the map, but at much lower supply, you're actually able to make it so your opponent can't move, right? Like if you look at a map like Eclipse, it's like, okay, 150 supply and your opponent can't move. Here, it's going to be a bit more. This map is actually kind of cool for TVT because it flows so much more. There's so many areas you can run into, and everything's so wide. It's actually very hard to completely choke off. So I think it's unlikely we'll get to something like a battlecruiser game, but certainly mass dropship could be coming soon.
Yeah, well, at that I think is going to be kind of forced, right? I mean, there's a point where it doesn't make sense for either side to really, in a stagnant game, it doesn't make sense for either side to just try to power through and break the other, because due to the nature of the siege tank, the defender's advantage is just absurd, right? And so you need the dropships to basically create imbalances in gridlock positions like this. So yeah, I think dropships are in order. This is a big enough map where it's like almost impossible to have proper coverage everywhere, especially if you're the person that has a little bit more of a wraparound here. That would be Barracks in this case, by the way. So we're seeing the first couple dropships really be used, not like for early game harass like before, but to try to break the position. But we're going to see dropships probably mount in higher numbers. And he is going to go for a bust here. This may be a bit rough here for Barracks. He does have all of his tanks here, whereas Light has more tanks spread around. But to fight on high ground, oh my God. I mean, you're seeing the difference here. I want to remind everybody, because I know we have people that are only familiar with StarCraft 2, like as players, and they watch StarCraft 1. There is chance to miss on low ground to high ground. But when you fire from high ground to low ground, your vision is given away temporarily, whereas StarCraft 2, it's not. And so, if your siege tanks on low ground miss a couple shots, like, it's so bad.
They fire so slowly, so you definitely do feel it. Light has now, during this, right, like he did basically hold that position, and he has dropped the bottom left, killed a bunch of SCVs there. He just made the SCVs run from another base of Barracks. Barracks only mining from 3 base at the moment, and Light's starting to really control the flow of this game. Look at this, the Wraith's coming down. It's like, okay, well, now you need Goliaths over here. Well, then he'll fly the Wraiths elsewhere. Okay, now you need anti-air over there. And Light is really utilizing his tech advantage via the Wraiths and the dropships brilliantly here against a player that, had more supply moments ago.
Okay, we've got a big push here. When he saw those tanks and Goliaths go down to 6 o'clock, he said, okay, now's my chance. This position that Barracks fought over earlier, I think it really worked against him here. You could see it's very easy for Light to just move through there and obliterate the few tanks that are, just still hanging out over there. And remember that for both sides, not just for Barracks, but for both sides, all the factories are in one spot, and that's normal. But if Light can actually push down and get some kind of a foothold outside the entrance to the natural, basically the same area that we saw Barracks pushing in earlier on, if he can get down there, there's not going to be any easy way without dropships for any of these factory units to move around. And from there, it becomes very easy to just destroy the rest of these bases.
Yeah, well, once you get the contain up like that in Terran vs. Terran, it's actually an easier finish even than Terran vs. Protoss. It's just, there's not a good way out. You can kind of take the whole map, you kind of roam everything together, and your opponent is down to only dropships as an option, which is not really that doable. Now, Light is continuing to fly around with these dropships. Drops a little bit on top of this army. Doesn't really get much done, but the Goliath would have wrecked him if he hadn't. And gonna check that bottom left once again, but nothing in that main.
Yeah. He's going to have these dropships over here. This is an important position, by the way, the upper left main. One thing about mains is especially in this matchup, it's very hard to push up from the low ground to the high ground without trading extremely unfavorably. And so, the fact that Light has just put tanks up here, this is such a headache here for Barracks. Now, I think Barracks over time is going to kind of chip away at this and pull through. Nice snipe on these dropships here.
Yeah, he'll be able to retake that bottom left main, but even delaying it like that is so annoying to deal with. And you have to count in, he could bring dropships back. You don't know if he will, but he could. And you can see right now that Light has kept the pressure on Barracks. It's really funny because he did the containment, and he actually lost the containment partially because he went into Wraith. But from the Wraith, he was able to go into dropship, and you can see him just dictate the flow of the game. And Barracks has been under attack almost the entire time. He's put almost zero pressure on Light's side of the map.
Yeah, that is very true. Minus maybe a few sets of vulture drops, which really isn't that much, right? He's going to come in here now and drop at 6 o'clock. And the strain is really there. I mean, this is one of the things about TVT that makes the matchup sort of sluggish, is like, it's hard to have the finishing blows. It's sort of like these huge battles like this one here. Wow, +3, by the way. That's crazy. Yeah, you have these big battles, and they slowly add up over time. And here's where it seems like he's found that imbalance, by the way. There's nothing like to really protect circulation in and out of the main base. And so he could see, oh, that's it. All right, GG. He sees when you're going to get contained there. You're going to be in trouble. And so, a masterful TVT from Light. But I'll tell you what, dude, Barracks played a very good game. I think he put up a good fight. I think his build order was smart. The problem is Light, he's the best of the best, man.
Yeah, and he really did show it there. I mean, that's a really difficult way to play. A lot of people won't go for that 2-starport Wraith and then into the dropships and everything, but he utilized that one advantage that he has. You have to play with what you're given, and he didn't have a macro advantage, he had a tech advantage, which he rode to victory by the end of the day, which, I mean, very positional, a very tough thing to do, what we just saw Light do, but beautifully executed.
Yeah, well done to Light. He is going to go on into the winner's match. Yeah, and I don't know what else to say. I think Light's going to get out of this group. I mean, I think this was probably the most predictable thing in the round of 16 is who's going to advance first. It's got to be Light here. TVT is just not a matchup this guy struggles in. And this is a very TVT likely group for him moving forward here. Up next, guys, we've got Mong versus Shine. and we're going to go to that after this short little break. We will be right back.
아침은 라떼, 홀릭 점심은 라떼, 홀릭 저녁엔 라떼, 홀릭 둥글하게 달콤하게 라떼 홀릭 달달한 충전이 필요할 땐 칸타타 라떼 홀릭
상큼함 맥스 칼로리 X 맛있는 탐스 제로 요즘 제일 탐나는 제로 탐스 제로 같이 떠나볼래?
Welcome back. It is time for our second match here in Group A of the round of 16. We're going to have this man, Mong, going up against Shine. I think kind of a very strange match as far as styles go. Mong is a player that's really known for just kind of standard macro play, very much so in this matchup. And Shine is like a very tricky technical player, so this could be a tough one for Mong if Shine brings the right type of build against him.
Dude, I think you're right, man. He is, if you're one of these guys that has a plan, whether it's like in the first couple minutes or somewhere in the mid game. By the way, Shine does seem to be a guy that does something somewhere in the mid game. But then this is definitely the kind of player you want to go against. Because cheesy players, aggro players, tricky players, they need you to kind of follow the routine, and then that's what gives them the opportunities to kind of come in and flip the game on its head. Now, I don't think that's, it's no secret how Shine plays, right? And so there is also that advantage for the macro player is maybe playing maybe 10, 15% more conservative, an extra a scout here or there for certain techs, an extra turret here or there. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's going to be a very interesting set of build orders on both sides to watch and kind of see where the game goes and how it develops. And speaking of which, we're ready to go into our second game of the evening here. Mong vs. Shine, TVZ starts now.
All right, we have Mong in that top left position. And in the bottom right, we're going to have Shine. I would say, based on their styles, this is good for Mong. His macro-heavy approach, he's further away from Shine, so it's harder for Shine to put the pressure on. And also, the other main bases might be harder, based on the openers, for Shine to hold, because they're closer to Mong than they would be otherwise. So don't mind this for Mong too much. But, as you said, there's, like, if Mong follows the predictable macro plays, that might be where Shine can outshine him. But on the macro side, you're kind of thinking of it in the same way, but opposite, don't you think? Where it's like, well, if I just macro well, I'm going to be able to grind someone like this out.
Yeah, I think so. I think whenever you're up against a player like Shine, you're thinking, okay, something's coming, something's going to happen in this game. And there's a lot of things you can do in an RTS game. It's why I'm so glad I get to cast this game, because there are so many unique things that can occur, like in a StarCraft game that may never happen again in a pro match, or a unique situation that can happen that it just can't be recreated. For Mong here, I think you got to think, you're trying to figure out, okay, so what does Shine want to do? Obviously Shine has gone over a lot of Mong's builds. He has a lot of different ideas. And by the way, guys, it's not to say that Shine can't play strong standard. It's just that he doesn't seem to do that in like 80-90% of the games.
Yeah, and the thing is, Shine can actually play like a straight up macro anything and beat almost every single player on Earth. It's just, we're in a tournament setting, and actually cheesy, aggressive, intelligent plays can actually be much better sometimes. So we'll see what he brings out. Like, I don't want to pigeonhole him or anything. He is able to just put out straightforward play, and that sometimes the cheesiest thing a cheeser can do, Tastosis, is play a macro game.
Oh yeah, if you get conditioned to like over defend, and then they just don't do anything at all, it's super frustrating. Now there's a
Tastosis, when you and I used to play like many years ago, I remember I would just send 2 SCVs out every game. If you just made Nexuses, I would have been in trouble.
I was so cheesy back in the day. I was like obsessed with hiding buildings on the map and taking gas and stuff. To the point where, like, there was some period of time where I'm like, I don't even know how to play normal because I've never tried that.
That's funny. I like that. Now look at this. He's actually hiding a hatchery on the side here.
Now,
so is he going to see it? Yeah, he sees it. Okay.
So that's actually big that he saw that. That hatchery being hidden there is probably to hide a tech there, but it's important to remember that, creep in StarCraft 1 is vastly different than creep in StarCraft 2. You can't spread creep easily. You don't really get many benefits if you were to spread creep. So what creep really functions as, it's like a pylon zone where, like, you can build in it.
Yeah.
That's basically it. And they can't build in it, for what it's worth. So it's at the point where just seeing that means you're one scan away from looking at that area. Now, Shine's tricky, right? He'll probably now hide the tech right in his main. But you're supposed to like randomize it a little bit, right? Like, he put it on the side because if Mong doesn't see that, he's gonna be like, okay, there's a third hatch on the map, and then maybe he goes looking for that. Right. In this particular case, don't forget you're like going to have 2 scans before Mutas can be there. That's how many scans you get. And there's 3 locations. Like, a scan is as big as a hatchery and its creep. Right.
Okay, so you can, if you place your building correctly, whatever your tech may be, Mong has 2/3 chance of seeing it and 1/3 chance of not seeing it.
There's an Evo chamber being made here.
That's kind of big.
What is happening?
That's a big scout. Yeah, so it looks like it's a Crazy Zerg build. So Crazy Zerg, for people that don't know, this is where you rush carapace upgrades, and you generally go Mutalisks. You always skip Lurker with it, and you skip Defiler with it, and then you go directly into Ultra. But of course, being Shine, he has Hydralisk then.
So basically, the Evo chamber is a red herring, if I had to guess here.
He's probably using it, honestly.
Okay.
But like, yeah, it's when you see one right then, immediately you think, okay, this is Crazy Zerg. Like, he's going to rush to Ultras. It's going to be Mutalisks. But instead, it looks like it's going to be like a Lurker opening here from Shine. And, I mean, +1 carapace is always good. It's never a bad upgrade.
Sure.
But he's definitely playing in such a way that, like, if you saw this on ladder, you'd be like, oh, nice, like a one-build warrior here, right? Like a one-trick pony. Like, what is this build that no one's ever seen before?
Yeah, it's funny to see, just how many different ways Shine will try to kind of mix this up. By the way, just going 3-hatch into Den, this is not proper for TVZ.
No.
It doesn't mean you can't play with it and you can't win with it, but it's like very much an alternative approach. Lurkers, okay, now there's a scan, so he sees this. So Lurkers are good, but you basically need Lings and Mutas usually to kind of cover for them, to allow them to move into positions to engage. In the old days, a lot of people did go Ling Lurker right away, but, Terrans would get very good with micro and basically stim, kill the Lings, and then they'd run away if the Lurkers burrowed. Or if they had an opportunity to shoot it down, they just do that, right? But this is this is kind of a funny opening to see Shine do here. Now, am I wrong in saying that there are opportunities to just kind of like try to push the Terran at the right time here? If he has like a lot of Lings and a lot of Lurkers, is there like a bust potential?
Well, I guess there always is if you just go balls to the wall units, but it's not like that realistic. Like if you figured out that that's what they're going to do, you just build some extra bunkers and suddenly they have all these units and no drones. But yeah, plays like this are generally just inferior. This is why we don't see things like this too often. Yeah, he has all these lurkers and lings, but you can out micro this. There's no real harassment potential from ling lurker. Whereas when you make Mutalisks, it's like, okay, now you have to build a bunch of turrets, plus there's harassment, plus there's scouting, plus there's all these different things going on. There are tricks, like look, he has hold position right there. These are great ideas from Shine, but we'll see if it works out. And oh my god, he has Overlord speed. He's going to go drops.
I was going to say, I wish I had just spoken 1 second ago. I was thinking in my head, I'm like, this is Shine. He's probably going to drop. I was like, there's always a mid-game drop. And so, yeah, let's see. Let's see how this does. It does seem like Mong is cognizant that this could be happening. He has like a turret in his main kind of placed to the side. He might be thinking of slow drop. So I think what's going to happen is Shine is going to kind of generate what looks like a push up to the front. And right when Terran has tried to bolster as much defense at the natural as possible, he's going to switch it up, grab everything into dropships, and throw it into the main. Or not dropships.
You might be right about
sorry,
that.
Not dropships, yeah.
Yeah, Zerg depots.
Yeah.
But look, this is kind of wild because it's a little bit hard to play against. You don't really ever get practice against this at a high level. People do it sometimes, but I'm sure that Shine has it better mapped out than like anyone, basically. So I'm looking forward to seeing what is the what is the counter here from Mong, because you do have to be careful. Like, these units are a little bit less fragile in some ways than like a Ling Muta army. So if Mong doesn't take it seriously, like if he just decides, okay, now I'm going to push with everything and a mass drop comes, I mean, he can just die from that. He can lose like everything in his main, and then Shine might just barely hold the push, and the game is over.
Yeah, you could absolutely be right about that, right? So far, though, Shine hasn't really done any impactful damage. Mong is steering the game into a direction where he should be able to win in a straight-up fight. As weird as the army comp is here from Shine. By the way, we do not have a Spire. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so
he needs a Spire, Tastosis. Overlords fly. You don't need mutas.
Oh, no, but it's going to finish. It's going to finish. Okay. I was going to say, because,
Yeah.
dropships become a problem here if you're not ready for it. Nice targeting here. Mong knows 3 tank shots, and you can kill a lurker, and so he does that. Is that correct? 3 tank shots does kill a lurker, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right. That's right.
I just realized
Now,
I got
he's-
oddly specific. I'm like, wait, I don't need to say that if I don't know that. But
Well, they need to have +1 Tasteless. Of course you knew that, and you assume the viewers knew that. No, they don't need the +1. It's 3 siege tank shots kill lurker. But right now, he is backing up. Here comes in the dropship, and the Scourge literally pop out as it's coming. So you can see, once again, Shine just has this mapped out to a level that people don't normally map a build like this out. Is literally his Spire just finished and his Scourge just finished. He caught the first dropship. That's kind of crazy.
God, the lurkers! Oh, that's huge. Big amount of damage. Takes the tank out. He's going to siege up. The lurkers have to back up. What are we doing? Okay.
Ooh, yeah, it takes a bit more damage there than he really wanted to. 1-1 upgrade's done, +1 melee attack even. Defiler Mound on the way, and he's slowing Mong some. The engagements are not perfect from Shine. Like, he started that really well and then lost a couple extra lurkers he didn't necessarily need to. But did he even get drops? I'm not even sure. Like, the speed overlords might be a ruse.
I think you might be right, actually. I saw speed and I thought that, but the player like Shine might just go for speed because it's kind of a weird thing, and it adds more elements into the game that have to be considered. I don't know.
You have to defend it if you see it, right?
Yeah, no, you see it, and it's a signal, right? That was an extreme trade, by the way, but pretty bad to lose that many lurkers. I guess the tank count has been reset as well. We're getting to the point where there's going to be vessels coming out 2 at a time. I do feel like Mong hasn't quite gotten to where he needs to be yet. He's close, but I think that Shine's fighting pretty well.
Yeah, Shine is fighting pretty well, but honestly, I kind of like Mong's position a little bit more, because he's on 2 starport now. He's got his macro going pretty well, and yeah, he lost those siege tanks, but it's going to switch into Defiler tech soon, so it's much more important about science vessels, and the tanks will lose a little bit of their value at this point anyways. So I'm kind of liking where he's at, right? Like, he's kept Shine mostly off of him. Shine doesn't have a 4th base yet, and Mong hasn't taken any damage, so his macro machine is rolling pretty well.
He's going to come up with a lot down here from the bottom. And you know, and Shine is starting to get on a pretty scary amount of bases. It's kind of funny because the expansion pattern almost looks like it's a PVZ or something. But, you know, he's just kind of turtled up on that side of the map. And the counterattack, dude, this is huge. The counterattack is so much smarter than trying to fight the army. The medic doesn't block the ramp. He can get up on top of production. The bunkers are empty, by the way. Don't be confused. You know, they don't have to be full of anything at this part of the game here. And so now Terran's going to have to fight uphill. That being said, these oh my God. Their lurkers are so low. They're all so low, Tastosis.
That's so annoying. He killed a lot with that, and honestly, he went up the ramp so poorly. If the AI had been any better, that would have been a huge victory for Shine. But as is, Mong is going to come out here. He's going to remove the other lurkers. Shine looks like he might be getting ready for another counterattack, and he is taking yet another base. He's expanding out very steadily from this area, but with the lurkers there now, I mean, with the defilers there now, rather, the game is really going to change its pace.
Wow, look at this. The lurker actually gets in here. Oh, but there's going to be 2 fire bats, so I think he can barely. No, what am I kidding? Fire bats. It's so funny watching them fight lurkers. Fire bats are just so bad compared to some of the other units in this game. All right, so these next ones are going to come down and win that fight, but he's got to be careful.
There's like a lot of danger here on both sides. This is a huge roaming army, a lot of science vessels in here as well. The lurkers and defilers and lings running around, though, if Shine gets something into the natural with like a decent amount, that's where a lot of damage can be dealt. And now, yeah, it's plague time, man. It's time for Shine to just grind these plagues.
So Terran's got a 3rd base, which is much needed. Terran expand, obviously, very slowly. In this matchup, but you know, Terran does not have a lot of map control right now, man. It is funny how when you have a play style like Shine has here, where he basically opted out of mutas and instead went for kind of a battle Zerg style of Ling Lurker early on, it lets the Zerg expand more to their side of the map, which can kind of make it tougher for Terran to find targets to push. A lot of times if you go for Muta and then later Lurker, the Zerg's expansion pattern is like, let's take another main, let's really stretch far out, and so it's these fights over very distant parts of the map. But now it's just Shine trying to get close to any of the bases, which are all in the bottom right here on this huge map.
It's kind of funny to look at. Like, we don't really have Niduses or anything yet. He is going up into Ultras. He's got 2/2 for melee right now, and here come down some Ultras. Chitinous Plaguing not yet done, but that combination of Defiler Ultra is the scariest thing that there is for Terran.
Oh, yeah. The Ultras have so much sustain here. By the way, these Marines are going to come in here and kill off these drones, so that's a pretty big victory. Keep in mind, it's a Zerg that was on 5 bases just a minute ago here, so taking one out is pretty good. The problem is that you know, he has gas at every one of these bases, so this is going to be a lot of Ultralisks. That 6 o'clock spot is going to be wiped, but I just worry that there's going to be so much more muscle here from Shine coming out.
You're certainly right about that. Like, Mong, he still has, like, dominating supply 132 against 85, but Shine, like, he's going to keep powering up here because he does have a lot of gas. He still has the 4 gases despite all the damage we just saw to that one base. And that means that he can field out, like, Defilers and Ultras at the same time with really reasonable upgrades. So, you know, look at that. Like, a beautiful plague upon those 4 vessels. That means that he has to be extra careful about losing those. But Mong, he certainly has a bit of that map control still.
Now, we want to watch the ultra count very carefully here, because when you get a certain number of them, it does become like just untenable for the Terran. But it's kind of like tanks, or when you watch science vessels, you need to get a critical amount of them before they could really have that major impact here. Mong is like forking out these infantry here, and trying to do what he can here, but I do feel like Shine is recovering pretty well. If Mong can at least keep the pressure on, though, he is expanding into 9 o'clock. I mean, this is turning out into a pretty insane game, Tastosis. Oh, and there's the one Muta.
It really is. Yeah, and you can see once again, like, still sub 100 supply here for Shine, whereas we have Mong up around 140, so he still has, like, a pretty good-sized army and everything. But he's just now taking his 4th base. He doesn't have, like, a big bank or anything, which is obviously good that he's been macroing well, but this also means he can't really get into battlecruiser or anything. It's a big map anyways, so I think he'd want to stay on these vessels. But Shine is battling pretty darn well, and he's still got a pretty big window here with his huge economy. Like, it's not until about 21 minutes that you start to really run out of gases, sir.
Yeah, that's a really cool observation, actually, Tastosis. That's an interesting way to look at it. Yeah, once they run out of that, then the dynamic of the game changes, assuming they can't keep up on bases. Mong may want to think twice about forking out a few of these Marines to try to counter these certain areas. It does feel like Zerg's at this macro phase. Oh my God, the one Muta, can he get it? The hero Muta, it's already got 1 kill, the only Muta in the game. No doubt that was probably made by accident, unless he really wanted to try to combo that with a Plague. Like get vessels and stuff.
That's actually a pretty common thing, is you make 1 or 2 mutas and you just suicide them in on the vessels that have been played. Because they might get 3 kills on one glaive shot, so right? Cool. If they get the right bounces. Yeah, so that's why you got to Spire Tastosis. There's 2 Scourge for the 1 dropship, and then this Muta.
That Muta's Shine, man. Flying around. Now
he's riding that thing, man. He's a Targaryen.
Man. No, Shine's face is right where the Muta's mouth is. That's the way I see it. It's just some nightmarish image.
Yeah. Oh, that's a huge catch right now. That is gigantic to get like 4 vessels at this point in the game. You really need to keep those around. And you can see the supply getting closer and closer for Shine. This is how TVZ, or ZVT, whatever you want to call it, actually does end up looking, where it's like, okay, Terran has way more, but Zerg's okay. They still have their gases. They're whittling you down. They're pushing you back. Oh, they just got some vessels. So Shine is still doing a pretty good job.
Yeah, Shine, he's fighting back, but I do feel like we're watching this game like it's a tug of war, and he's slowly losing control of it. The ultra counts have never been that high. We've had a couple moments where he takes a fight, and it's clear he's not going to win, and the Ultralisk has dropped. Can he get another? Oh no, he's not going to get that one there either.
the Plagued Ultra was doing his best there, man, for sure. This 4th base has been denied a little bit. The Ultra going to get picked off. He does have those full carapace upgrades now, as well as the full melee attack. And yeah, Shine has lost these bases several times, and we're getting really close to his geysers in his main and natural starting to dry up. So that's going to be a bit of an issue here for Shine in the next few minutes. But look at the supply. Okay, this is a big part of TVZ. When Zerg starts catching you in supply, that becomes a huge issue in the matchup.
Yeah, Zerg's supply, if it gets too high, I mean, the only problem they ever have is that they can't bind all of their units to all of the available hotkeys on the keyboard. But other than that, they are just so much stronger than the other races if they get maxed out.
They really are.
Yeah.
And he actually just passed him in supply. So even though we're hitting that moment where Mong may have been able to take the game down, he's losing his 4th base here. He'll float it, of course, so the command center's not gone. But is he going to be able to retake control of the map? Shine is starting to come out everywhere. He's hitting multiple locations. Look at this. All these Scourge coming up, all the Ultras come. A great way to pick off vessels. A bunch of vessels going to get picked off here. And suddenly, it looks like Shine's taking the game.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, man. That's really been Shine's saving grace, is keeping the vessel count overall very, very low. is he's basically
Absolutely.
coming out and, you know, if you have like a dozen vessels or more in a game and you keep them alive and you just irradiate lurkers, ultralisks, and in other games that are not this one, clumps of mutas, over time you just get more value. And important to note is that Terran, by the way, has almost mined out the natural. The main is basically mined out. I think I see 2 blue patches in the main, but I think they probably have like, you know, less than 100 minerals in them if I had to guess.
For sure.
Which means that these exterior bases can become extremely valuable targets, because if you kill those off, Terran just isn't mining anymore. And this is not a game where anybody has spiked in savings. You know, they couldn't quite spend their money. And so these exterior bases become very vulnerable. And right now, he's only using 1. And that's where these Ultras are attacking. That's where this Dark Swarm is coming. I mean, this has been kind of a crazy match here, to see these 2 guys duking it out and how close this is. And just how different, especially the mid-game was for the TVZ. But, like, I see 1 bunker. I see a Dark Swarm on the command center and in between the natural rally points and here. And, like, I think that Shine is barely going to topple him here. There it is, GG.
GG. Really well done by Shine. That was a killer game from both sides. They both played that very, very well. But I think that you were basically right talking about the vessel reduction. That was probably overall the most important thing that Shine did to actually be able to win that game, because he was pushed right up to the brink. He was on only 4 bases. We were at 20 minutes, and then he just started to roll through everything. And if there had been, because he killed, like, what, 10 vessels through the game, maybe more? If there's 10 more vessels there, I mean, everything you have is green and dying.
Yeah, well, you can irradiate the Ultras. You can also defensive matrix, you know, Marines, and
Yeah.
these positions where it's like, well, that'll actually give you that little edge, and you can come out on top. Okay, so Shine wins. He's going to be going up against Light. Shine sticking to what Shine does, man. Always playing around the meta, always thinking outside the box. And there's a reason this guy's been in an ASL finals before, man. Nobody else that Zerg seems to quite be able to play the bizarre, unusual, sometimes even counterintuitive style that he continues to bring even to this day.
Very off-meta stuff, but I love to see it. What is he going to bring out, though, against Light? A much better Terran versus Zerg player. We're going to see after this quick commercial break.
강 진출 오랜만에 한 윤찬입니다. 제가 그 패자전에서 멀티태스킹을 걸면서 앞에 있는 드라군을 딱 솎아내는 장면이 있는데 그때 딱 이겼다는 생각을 했어요. 멀티에서 걸렸구나. 짜릿했습니다 이때.
대중적으로 이어환입니다. 제가 많이 사용했던 이제 건물이에요. 나이더스 터널이라는 건물인데 이 건물을 사용해가지고 이제 테란의 본진에 터널을 설치해가지고 총선 이제 마린들을 공격하는 이런 전략을 쓴 적이 있었거든요. 이게 제일 기억에 남아요. 제가 터널에서 이제 저글링들이 이렇게 공격하면서 러퍼랑 디파이어까지 상대 본진을 장악하는 전략을 한번 썼던 적이 있어요. 땅굴적으로, 국계적으로 이런 식으로 이제 지긴 했었는데 후방을 침투하는 전략입니다.
아프리카 BJ로 활동하고 있는 황병영이라고 합니다. 욕 엄청 먹을 것 같은데 이러면. 이거? 누굴 그린 거야 나? 약간 이런 느낌이지 않을까? 너무 못생겼네. 저거 봐요. 죄송합니다. 옛날에 다 챙겨봤죠. 왜 그러세요? 그러지 마세요, 진짜. 다시는 안 그래야지.
ASL 13 우승자 이재호입니다. 반갑습니다. 이게 제일 정확한 것 같은데. 올 현금 박치기에서 찾았어요. 딱 생각나는 사람 없나요? 네네. 이 친구랑 제가 표현하고자 했던 거는 옵저버 하는 모습. 아니, 약간 얼굴은 명훈이 같긴 한데 이영환 선수를 좀 표현하고 싶었는데 좀 꽃미남 형태? 푸드라 머리 약간 곱슬인 걸 표현한 거고 그냥 되게 잘생겼어요. 예, 경영이죠.
프리거 소스를 좋아해가지고 이 앞에 이제 제육이 맛있는 식당이 있어요. 긴장을 많이 하니까 선수들이 이제 경기하기 전에 밥을 잘 안 먹는데 저는 좀 밥을 먹고 경기하는 스타일이거든요. 그래서 주차장은 이게 제일 있을 것 같습니다.
이게 병영이 형 아이디에 맞게 이제 베럭스. 병영이 형을 딱 처음에 ASTL 팀으로 한번 만난 적이 있는데 얼굴이 좀 잘생겨서 그래도 성질은 좀 모나지 않을까 싶었는데 와 저와 다르게 너무 착하고 뭔가 인상이 되게 좋았다. 여러모로 잘 됐으면 하는 사람.
그냥 첫인상에 눈이 이쁘다고 하니까 그냥 그게 기분 좋아가지고 여기 거울이 그래도 좀 있거든요. 저는 약간 눈이 아니요. 아니 그대로 이렇게 하면은 똑같지 않나요? 예. 제가 다른 곳은 다 아빠 닮았는데 눈만 엄마 닮았어요. 어머니가 눈이 진짜 커요. 아유 너무 크다. 아니 조절이 안 됐다. 좀 잘했는데? 그냥 이런 느낌이거든요.
혼자서 이제 방송을 하고 나서 이렇게 TV를 보는 일이 많았는데 이제 결혼 후에는 혼자 보던 거를 옆에다 이렇게 같이 앉아가지고 봅니다. 근데 제 와이프가 애니메이션을 좋아해가지고 많이들 아시는 원피스의 루피 팔이 이렇게 막 길어지는 이런 것도 보고 저는 영화를 좋아해요. 극장 가서 영화 보거나 아니면 집에서 영화 보거나 좀 장르는 안 가리거든요. 약간 리더십을 발휘하는 톰 크루즈의 모습이 너무 멋있어서 저런 사람이 되고 싶다라는 생각을 했거든요.
이렇게 뚱뚱했던 적이 있어요. 지금 뚱뚱하지만 그때 엄청 뚱뚱했던 적이 있는데 그때가 그나마 좀 지우고 싶은 시간이었던 것 같아요. 김윤아 선수요. 약간 뚜렷한 이목구비에 이제 잘생긴 얼굴. 제가 그림을 잘 못 그려가지고 이상해지는데 큰 눈이 좀 포인트인 것 같아요.
약간 밈으로 남겨진 짤이 있는데 이건 진짜 잘 그렸다. 정지짤. 데뷔전 때 그때 실수를 해가지고 그 퍼즐을 저 혼자서 눌렀다가 몰수배당한 경기가 있거든요. 그 경기 끝나고 제가 은퇴를 했는데 그 10년 전 그 몰수배 당했을 때 그 짤이 저에게 가장 슬픈 짤이 아닌가. 찬이야 누르지. 넌 젊으니까 뭐든 다 잘할 거야. 너 10년 뒤에 ASL 우승할 수 있다. ASL 14쯤에 할 수 있을 것 같다. 파이팅해라.
Yo, everybody, we're back, and we are ready to go into the winner's match. This is Light versus Shine. I know that, Light is the golden boy of this group, and, he's the Terran player of ASL right now. But I do want to make a case for Shine here. The only player we saw promptly shut down Shine's builds really hard was Flash.
That's
right.
That's true.
Yeah.
I think you're mostly right. Like occasionally he gets shut down. That's just the way of it.
Sure, but I mean, I don't know if there's another Terran out there that's quite as nuanced to deal with Shine here. So Shine, he's gonna have some tricks up his sleeve, man. We just got to see what it's gonna be. Light, I don't imagine anything fancy. Probably just straight up play. Anyways, guys, we're gonna hop into this match right now. This is Light versus Shine. The winner is going to be the first player to survive into the round of 8 of the ASL.
So we have in the top right, Light. In the bottom right, we have Shine. So Butter, two-player map. I'm trying to think what Shine can do on a map like this, where it's like a little bit thinner. It's two-player, so like you're going to get scouted exactly when Light wants to scout you. It seems hard to pull a quick one on Light here, right?
Yeah, it does on this map especially. I do expect some mid-game surprises here from Shine. I haven't really put that much thought into this map with this matchup, to be totally honest. So I'm very curious to see what exactly they both want to do. I mean, the thing about Light is he's fairly conservative in this matchup. He doesn't, I think, feel the need to do anything risky at all. I think he's just kind of solid and plays a mechanical game and powers through it. So, for Shine, you got to wonder, okay, so what's the hole going to be in the play? Like, what he did versus Mong is he basically just got a different unit comp. You know what I'm saying? He basically played an off-brand game. And look, I want to be clear. There's actually a lot of ways to play StarCraft. That guy gets it. For sure. There's a lot of different ways to play a StarCraft game, and there are definitely some ways that appear to be more successful than others. And what Shine has kind of specialized in is becoming the super expert at, like, just not meta play styles. Maybe, if you saw somebody play like that, you'd say, well, that's weird. Why don't you just go for, 2-hatch Muta into 3rd hatch on another base and a lurker. But if you're playing outside of the meta like Shine is, you end up getting so much experience at playing this weird way, whereas Mong probably plays that a few times, a game like that just a small number of times out of like 100 ladder games, let's say. Whereas Shine has probably played hundreds of games like that just in the last few months, and so. It actually makes me think a lot about, like, chess openings. There's that 3rd hatch, by the way. It makes me think about these chess openings that these grandmasters map out that are, like, not the normal openings. They don't have the normal lines. And they're doing that because they prepared something and they're forcing the other player to basically play within their rule set and their parameters.
Shine is, he is like that. Like, I guess he forces, as they say in chess, he gets them out of book as quickly as possible, and mixes it up so much because of that. But Light is actually coming in, I think, with a fantastic counter to this type of idea, which is he's known for SK Terran, okay? SK Terran being Marine Medic Science Vessel, to the point where even when Flash was fully active, most people agreed that Light was basically the same level as Flash at that. Maybe even macro-wise slightly better. So, like, he is so unbelievably good at that. And he's going against that grain right now. He very rarely deviates from Marine Medic Science Vessel, but he has done a factory into Command Center opening. And we don't know where he'll go from here. He could go mech. It could be a 1-1-1. It looks like a 1-1-1 since he's getting the starport right away. So that'd be 1 barracks, 1 factory, 1 starport. And... yeah, this I think likely will turn into a vulture drop, but it does not have to.
Yeah, this is kind of a cool approach here. I was, I guess, dead wrong in my predictions for how Light was going to behave. He did do kind of a different build order here. But it seems like he wants to start to engage the Zerg early on and then maybe try to... keep in mind that because Shine does so many weird stuff mid-games, you can be punished for this with a drop, right? I mean, you might not be completely equipped to handle something like this. So this should be an interesting one.
In fact, he's going Wraith here first. So the Wraith will show off that he is going for a 1-1-1 build, and it will start killing some Overlords. But that would give Shine ample notification to kind of block any drops from coming in. But Light doesn't have to do a drop, right? Like there's a question there whether he wants to or not. And from here, he should be going into just kind of standard macro Terran. But yeah, the opener itself, I think, is posing problems here for Shine.
Now, Shine going back into that the Hydra tech here, but the Spire's a little bit earlier. I do wonder if Shine has paired this build order with the previous one, because this could look like it's exactly the same thing as the last game we just casted, but it's actually a little bit different.
Well, he definitely did the same hatchery placement. Maybe he was going to go for the same type of thing, and when he realized it was Vulture, he's having to kind of play it a little bit different.
Oh, yeah, you're probably right about that.
The Wraith comes in, it gets a full scout, it sees like, okay, there's a Spire, there's one Hydra, we're going to micro heavily here and force you to show more than one Hydra. And I mean, normally against mech, you're always going to make like 2 to 3 Hydras at least, because otherwise stuff like this can happen. But I guess Shine hasn't completely shown where he's going with this. Sometimes you'll make the Spire, but you'll still go Hydra, something like that, try to catch your opponent off guard.
Yeah, it makes sense. We've got a small littering of mines on the outside of the map. Now, you got to be careful if you're the Zerg player, because one of the worst things that can happen to a Zerg that's playing the way that Shine's playing is if his lurkers walk into spider mines. Like, that is the most...
That's the greatest feeling as a Terran. If mines kill lurkers, you're like, all right, this is over.
Like, I am a king.
I am a king. But it is going to be a switch into mutas here. So the muta's going to start flying up. They did fly over some mines here. And in fact, we'll go ahead and clear some of these, showing where he's going to take his third base. But Light already has a pretty good turret spread, and he's getting a Radiate already. So, like, if Shine can swipe in here and actually kill that first vessel, that's going to be huge. But Light is almost over-turreting. He is making so much defense that I don't think Shine is going to have any options.
Yeah, it's kind of been a cool TVZ so far, where they're both, like, teching in these interesting directions. They're trying to basically, like, outmaneuver each other with tech. Big kill on those 2 Hydras, by the way, going down to those mines. It's funny to see these Hydras here hitting the bunkers. Hydras are actually very bad against bunkers, but I guess Shine wants to basically draw the SCVs out to kill them. That's really the idea here.
Yeah, that's actually exactly what we were seeing, and he did a pretty good job. He killed a decent amount of SCVs. The Hydras really don't matter, so they're gone. And now we're going to have some Irradiates out, which is going to be a little bit of a problem for these mutas. Like, Shine's army is about to get decimated.
Wow!
Oh, he got it! Oh, Light has to be so disappointed in himself. That's rough.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you lose that vessel, man, I mean, it's kind of everything you were building up to, right? And, you know, now, oh, these mines are going to connect on the SCVs! Dude, if he actually gets the bunker... Oh, I think he barely doesn't get it. Oh, hold on, there's suddenly lings here.
I think you're right. And, well, there's more lings, but up come some vultures. He's going to have a Radiate here anytime. I'm surprised that we haven't actually seen the Radiate yet.
Dude,
like, what's going on here?
More turrets in this game than there are viewers of this VOD, man. This is insane. Like, what is going on? There's so many turrets here. There's more turrets than SCVs now, I'm sure. Like,
oh, my God.
The thing is, like, the lings, dude, I think actually Light's going to die.
It's really possible at this point. Something went wrong here. Oh, he lost his vessel. That's what the observer's showing us, because I'm like, this has had energy. Like, it had energy when the one vessel got sniped.
Oh.
So he literally lost that, Tastosis. You all of us have had that.
Okay,
moment.
no, you mean he lost track of that? Yes.
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 I've
lost.
had that.
Like, literally, he was like, I don't know where this is. It's not on a hotkey. I think I lost it.
Yeah.
You know, not just, but like literally he probably thought it was killed at that point, and then he finally saw it. But that screwed him up a lot, because he could have gotten in a Radiate much earlier on, and now he loses another vessel. Oh my God. Dude, Shine is crushing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually really glad that you noticed that the vessel was missing, because I was kind of confused myself. I think he got the first kill on one. Things got hectic. The bunker was under fire. And yeah, he just lost track of it. I mean, this has happened to even the very best in the world. We've seen these moments. Someone loses track of a vessel, an arbiter, an observer. Defilers, sometimes people are like, where's my defiler? You
a
know,
shuttle or drop ship.
Sure.
It really is actually. Anyone who plays a lot knows that feeling. You have limited hotkeys. There's nothing to cycle through units or anything, so it's just like, yeah, sometimes stuff just goes missing. And it might have died. You can't spend forever looking for it, so he probably assumed that. And suddenly, like 33 supply to 59, this is a massive advantage for Shine. I would be surprised if he doesn't win this game now.
Well, I feel like he is 90% there. It is devastating to lose your natural in TVZ because one base Terran is very, very it's very brittle. You know, the thing about Terran is two bases does more for Terran than two bases does for Zerg for Protoss in some ways. Like, but one base, you know, Marines are weak. Even Vultures are weak, right? They all die pretty fast. They're all glass cannony is probably the easiest way to describe them.
Yeah.
And so when you start to lose, you know, your natural, you're producing at half the rate. But, you know, a small Terran army dies to pretty much anything. A big Terran army can kill pretty much anything. So he's trying to recover this. But look, he's landed the CC. I think there were like 5 SCVs back there.
It's pretty bad. It's pretty dire. And I think that what you're looking for when you're trying to describe like the one base Terran compared to the other races, all Terran units are about reaching critical mass.
Right.
And you just can't do that without two bases.
Yeah.
Like you can get a good army on two bases in any matchup, but yeah, here it's like his economy has been just shattered. He's having such a hard time. Look at this. Running into mines and stuff, getting irradiated all over the place, but he's still probably going to get broken.
Yeah, the 2 lurkers, actually 3 now. This is probably just barely enough. You know, even though there are so many vessels out, I think that right now the funding here from Shine is such that he can keep remaking Lings and Lurkers, and all you have to do is keep him from mining this. Oh, gets another one.
So brutal. He's lost so many vessels this game already. Everything has gone wrong for Light, and he is going to GG. Oh my god, is Shine going to be able to win this group?
What is going on? Oh, Shine is so salty. I can't even believe he pulled that off. And again, it's kind of an odd style. You know, again, a lot of that does come down to Light losing track of the science vessel back there, but that's also the chaos that Shine creates in these games.
It certainly is. Like, normally that is not going to be something that you end up forgetting where it went, but, you know, something like that, it stacks up really quickly. Shine took advantage of the situation where he wasn't getting irradiated, but there were a lot of flaws there from Light. Like, he screwed it up. It's not a type of way that he normally plays. I've seen him do stuff like that before, but really it's like, I would say it's probably that type of opener is less than 10% of his play. So, you know, maybe he's just slightly off because of that. Shine throwing him off a little bit as well. But hoping Light can come back and show us some quality here on Odyssey.
Yeah, man. A lot of pressure here on Light. I mean, still visibly frustrated after that loss. Right now, Shine knowing all he's got to do is clutch one more game. I mean, he's already did it once. Can he do it again? And if so, dude, he's the first guy to go on to the round of 8. That's crazy.
That would be insane if he actually wins a group with Light in it. Like, I don't expect Light to really lose to anybody. Like, if he lost, like, to Mini or something in the round of 8, I'd be like, yeah, okay. But to Shine in the round of 16, it might happen.
All right, guys, we're ready now. Game 2 in this best of 3. Shine with the 1-0 lead versus Light.
So Light is in the top right there, Shine in the bottom left. Don't forget, Shine showed us that at least at this bottom spot you can hop lurkers over the little gate thing. So what is he going to have planned here for Light? I really don't know.
Oh gosh, I actually forgot. Yeah, that's right. There's all sorts of weird stuff you can do on this map. This is kind of a Shine map. This is
I think so.
This is Shine's home planet, man. This is his
Char? Is this
Yeah,
Char?
this is
in Char?
one of the Zerg maps. You know, they each had different planets they were in control of. This is where Shine's brood is from.
Yeah, he's kind of a rechecked brood, I think, actually. Kerrigan having a hard time bringing him under control.
Yeah.
But,
now,
that's about the extent of our lore knowledge right there, Tasteless. I'm like, I don't know, I think Tassadar killed him, Tasteless, I'm pretty sure.
I still never beat Legacy of the Void.
I know, me too.
Yeah.
One day,
perhaps. So, Light, look, I mean, I don't want to harp on it too much, but that's a brutal way to lose, man. Losing control of that vessel. Or not losing it, just losing sight of where it is, not being able to find it.
Yeah.
You know, that's rough, man.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think Light can pull it together. I do actually still think Light is likely to take this still. I'd give him the odds right now. But
I would too.
But again, it's exciting to see that Shine can do a rug pull even to Light like that.
Yeah, Shine's so far undefeated tonight, so only player with that distinction at this point.
That's
right. Can he keep that going, though? That would be absolute insanity. I feel like there has to be some sort of plan here to use that back base as Shine, but I'm not sure what it would be for this matchup. It seems a little bit more abusable against, like, Protoss, maybe? But, like, against Terran, like, I mean, they can... Terran gains, like, a lot of map control in the mid-game against Zerg. So, like, killing the temples is a possibility. Dropship play is a possibility. Maybe that won't even really come into play.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll have to wait and see. I'm not totally sure, you know, what to expect here. I mean, I think Shine at this point has just leaned in fully into kind of unusual play styles here. He is getting his third hatch here, so thematically, at least to start, you know, a lot of the same ideas at play.
Third hatch is, I think, a really smart way to do it because 2 hatch, like at this point, 2 hatch is really considered stronger than 3 hatch. It's just, it gives you so many options with your Mutalisks. It just puts so much pressure onto Terran. And the fact that he is just completely avoiding what, like, just to put this in perspective, as a Terran player, I would say I play against 2 hatchery openers, like 85 to 90% of the games against Zerg. So the fact that he is continually doing like these 3 hatch openers and then also sometimes going other tech routes, it's just going to be something that Light hasn't really played as much against recently. He's not going to be as sharp against it. And, you know, when you're kind of falling back on older builds and you're like, I guess I'll go +1 5 racks or something. That's where Shine is really going to get you with things like the Lurker build.
For sure. By the way, he is going to kill that SCV. You could see Light sent out a second one there to basically try to figure out what's going on. Quick eBay here for +1 attack and an armory, an academy, excuse me, behind it. And, you know, I do feel like Light has the right building blocks set up to probably get to a healthier spot in this game. That last game, you know, it's important that we do remind everybody that is a very unusual way to play. It's not bad, but it comes with its own risks. What Light did, and I think that this is going to allow Light to set up a little bit more easily. You know, when you see Terrans do like 1-1-1 plays, whether it's 1 base or 2 base, every single piece of the picture is important. The Vulture is important. The few Marines you have are important. The Vessel's important. The Wraith's important.
Yeah. Yeah.
And obviously, you know, it's fair to say every unit in the game matters. But like, with Terran being as brittle as they are and having all these different technical units that cover different points of the game, you know, if you get tripped up, you just die.
It's very true. It's very true. And, you know, this, like, looking at this game right now, this is, like, he's gearing up for +1 5 racks. It doesn't have to be 5 racks, okay? But he is going for that fast +1 that normally against 3 hatch turns into 5 barracks. But once again, Shine has made the Hydralisk Den. So it looks like he wants to go Ling Lurker. But we haven't seen the Evolution Chamber, so that's a little bit different. He's throwing down a lot of Sunkens, which is a little bit uncommon here as well. And look, okay, so 4 barracks. Let's see if Light adds another one. I don't believe he did. Yeah, he just scanned and saw that Hydralisk Den. So
yeah,
that's actually a very, very valuable scan. And that means that he will not like overproduce Marines, because that's kind of a counter to mass Marines, right? Is you just have some lurkers and suddenly the Marines don't do anything.
Right. This is going to be Light basically doing, you know, he's better at this than almost everybody in the world. I think on some days he is the best at this style of play.
For sure.
I'm always blown away watching him do this. This style by Light, by the way, it's old. It's been around for a long time. It's probably the most mechanically demanding. There's not a lot of braininess to it compared to like a lot of the other matchups and builds, but it's like you have to like have really good input. Like you have to constantly be making depots, constantly be you know, cranking out Marines, rebinding hotkeys, controlling your army. If you do it well, you win a lot of fights. You can close in on them very quickly. And I really do feel like when I watch Light, like he's so perfect at this.
Yeah, there's really not anyone better at that style of play. And one thing I want to mention, looking at these builds, like, look, Shine just took his 3rd gas in his main. He's going for a rather quick hive without even any lurkers really out yet. So he's showing us that he really wants to defy the rush. And then over on Light's side, he actually started his factory really early. Like, he started it before 6 minutes. Where with this type of build, normally you start at around 7 minutes. So that scan that saw the Hydralisk Den, he's already really pivoting heavily. Oh my god.
What?
Oh my god, Tasteless.
Now, you know what's
this
funny?
This is some of the most cleverest stuff I've ever seen.
I know. This is so interesting. Okay, so I got a lot to say. First of all, just a little subtlety here. He had the den there first and let it get scanned, and he put the Spire right next to it. Now, the likelihood that Terran scans that den area again, that's the most likely spot to miss on the map. Now, you see the mutas, you're not immediately thinking Guardians, right? But this is Guardian tech. This is very fast Guardian tech. Okay, oh my god, he sees it. He sees it.
That's huge.
Like, I mean, the Guardians are going to start very quickly here. And, oh my god, this...
He only has 1 starport, Tasteless. This is a bit of an issue. Like, to counter Guardians, you really want 2 starports pumping out Valkyries or Wraiths, or already have a bunch of Science Vessels, which isn't going to be the case. Instead, he went for Siege Tank. Like, 1 factory, 1 starport. So, you know, it's not the quickest Guardians in the whole world. He'll have a little bit of time to try to counter these, but it doesn't feel like he has a great counter to them. So Shine is really, like, jumping around this tech tree a lot and trying to catch, you know, Light on, like, a rough edge here.
So he's morphing. I assume those are Guardians. There might be 1 Devour in there. I mean, we'll see. And this is actually not a push where he's going to try to hit above the natural. He's going to, I believe, actually try to push with Guardian Lurker into the the natural. This is not. I don't know about you, Artosis, but I immediately thought, oh, he's going to be on the high ground behind the minerals. But I think actually he wants to just try to push here. Here we go.
Dude, Lurker Guardian is like very rare to see.
He
and
snipes the
already
tank.
Pops a tank?
Oh
my god,
dude, he's crazy. He's a madman.
He really is. Look at this. And like Light is trying to micro against this, but it's very difficult. Oh my god, the Lurkers coming up, burrowing once again. You can't stim and run under those Guardians when there's Lurkers there. You just cannot. Look at this. He gets 1 irradiate. Who cares? Throw that Guardian away, right-click it forward. Now, here comes a Wraith. There's no real anti-air here. Oh, never mind. Here comes some Hydras.
Hydras with speed, Artosis.
Dude,
he's
this is
gonna go
crazy.
out first. I can't believe this. I cannot believe
crazy.
this. This is so sick.
Okay, one quick thing here, Tasteless.
Yeah.
He's going 2-port Wraith with Cloak. I don't see an Overlord, so if Cloak finishes really quickly, maybe he can hold, but it's looking pretty rough as Shine goes up the ramp on top of the Barracks now.
Well, he's actually got 1 Overlord parked behind where the natural was.
Does he?
Yeah. So if that becomes a problem, I mean, he's going to see that blinking, right? So he should know that it's coming. He's going to go right for the tank. Dude, that's a great snipe. That is perfect. Now, where's that Overlord?
Oh, yeah, no, the Cloaked Wraiths are actually, they're getting a little bit of damage done here. They pick off several Guardians right away. Look at this. They're actually killing a lot of Guardians.
He's pulling the Overlord up here now.
Is he? Well, he runs back to it, so it looks like he will snap one Wraith neck. The other one gets away.
Okay, so I don't know that he can break him. Well, maybe he can, man. That's a lot. That's a lot of stuff. But again, a one-base
Look
Terran.
how these Overlords coming.
It is just a two-base Zerg, by the way. Yeah, every Overlord in the game is coming up here now.
It's a bit much. It's a bit
Yeah,
much, but okay.
It's a lot.
At least you'll have detection for the rest of the time here. Can Light stabilize this? He does have that second gas, which is actually the important thing here. Shine's economy is not that great. Right, Siege is up. There's not that many Guardians. If he still had a big clump, like 8 Guardians, this game would already be over because he would just attack, move him, and kill everything.
If he had an Overlord
he
with
is
that,
remaking some.
Yeah, if he had an Overlord with that army initially, he would have we would have already been, you know.
Oh yeah.
You know, at
There'd
the
be an
winner's
interview
interview.
right now.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, the issue now is that, you know, there's. Oh, now hold on a second. That's interesting. I kind of forgot that you can hide a base back there because this game got so weird. So.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you know, the Terran can take another base, and these Guardians can't really do that much, and he has to break through a much more fortified position. So maybe Light actually is going to be okay.
He's utilizing range very, very well here. That bunker is kind of a hard wall for Guardians to get through.
Yeah.
He's microing the Wraiths. He has the tank right behind. So tank range is bigger than Guardian range. So you can kind of defend your Wraiths fighting against Guardians with tanks. And it's funny because as I say that, this is like kind of how you would fight against Guardians in like 2007 or something.
Yeah.
But you just never anymore. So it's really funny to see Light having to utilize tank Wraith against this.
Yeah, it's funny. The Guardian is not considered a very good unit, but when used right, it is strong. You know, especially if you get like a lot of them, because they just start to pelt the ground with so much damage. But, you know, again, if Terran kind of builds up to what they need to get, it gets a little bit harder to make these Guardians that much more useful. And now we're seeing basically Guardian Hydra here, which is over time manageable for, you know, Marines with Stem. Did he come down too soon, though?
Oh,
I mean,
well, even if he did, the Guardian count is just a bit low. Like, really, if at any time he had like 3 more Guardians than he's had, the game would have ended. But as is, look at this, another little attack back to the side. The Wraiths should be able to clean that up, and suddenly Light is pushing everything back. And honestly, this is an unupgraded Hydra lurker thing that Shine is starting to do. Dude, he was like so close to killing Light, but suddenly I'm looking at this, I'm like, yeah, Shine is looking rough now.
Yeah, I think, well, I mean, you know, let's go big picture for a second here. Shine does have 2 more bases. It does appear that extra base in the back that Light took is okay. He does have Dark Swarm. I think actually Shine may just still be able to swing this.
Oh.
I actually...
Maybe. I think you make like Fire Bats only at this point and use Siege Tank, Fire Bat, like Science Vessel, and I think it's still a little hard for Shine, but Shine is double expanded. So if he can just buy time with this, like his bases will start to kick in. Oh god, he's all over the Barracks, Tasteless.
You know, I think Light is hanging on by a thread, and I think that thread's about to break. I think it might be. I mean, he might barely hold this, but like, I mean, we're getting to real dire straits here. I mean, this is.
We're pushed back, Tasteless. There's Dark Swarms on his Barracks.
Yeah.
That is never a good feeling as Terran.
Yeah, and you know, to be honest, Shine's not even mining from his other bases. Like he knows he's like just gotta like put in 110% of his effort onto like trying to break the tanks, trying to just like get closer here. And I guess, you know,
the Fire Bats though are starting to break through some of this. He kept his Siege Tank alive, I believe, there up to the top. Look at this, 4 Siege Tanks now. He doesn't have a lot of bio. Scourge coming in to get these vessels. Just enough to save a couple of them.
I mean,
this is insane.
This is wild.
Okay, who actually wins this game? Because Shine's supply is really low. He's got very little anything, but he does have those 4 bases up.
I think Terran wins.
Light doesn't have a lot himself.
I think Terran wins as long as he starts to push. And he seems to know that, too.
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why you, again, you know, we talked about how going Lurker Ling is kind of obtuse. Hydra Guardian and Shine now trying to transition out of it. I mean, that will lose to, you know, Vessel, Tank, Bio. So I think he's just going to have enough to kind of power through this. And these two bases at the top left, I mean, these are not that defendable. It looks like he's going to avoid Dark Swarm as best he can.
Light is he's rotating around very, very well. Like another Dark Storm can go down, okay, that will push him out. But he's picking off Defiler each time, basically.
Yeah, he's basically doing a good job sharking around the map. And like when a Dark Storm comes down, he just moves away from that. Which is what you want to do. I mean, that is the play exactly here. So, you know, who knows, man? Maybe this goes into a long game. I'm starting to think that maybe Terran can't break these bases at the top left. Now, he's going to come around here. There is a Nidus set up here. There are Scourge coming out here. Oh, my God.
He's going to have to back up these Lurkers, back them behind those Sunkens. Tank's going to continue to move up here. And it feels like Shine is just about done. Like, look at his supply. He's at 56 supply. That's not really enough to hold 3 base, let alone 4.
Yeah, drops one Vessel. But, you know, that classic Terran push just kind of coming through. That's it. GG. We're tied up 1-1.
Dude, and we're tied up 1-1. And Shine, honestly, like, he had him, basically. Light was millimeters from defeat. I think that you're right. If the Overlord had been up there, he would have been able to take him down. The Wraiths wouldn't have been able to pick off enough of the Guardians, and Shine would already be in that winner's interview. But showing that he can take out absolutely anybody. Tied up 1-1, like game 3, it's anyone's guess what's going to happen.
And I think at this point in time, we have to really consider that Shine can take this. I mean, Light did have, you know, an insane recovery there, but Shine knows how to win. To be honest, he had that game won. He forgot the one piece of the puzzle that ensured that he wouldn't, you know, be stopped there. He had the Guardians and the Lurkers pushing on top, literally on top of the Barracks. But, you know, Light crossed all his T's and dotted all his I's and did recover. What is Shine going to do in game 3?
God, I mean, I didn't know what he was going to do in game 1 or game 2, and they were both completely wild. He is all over the place, tech switches, just so many mind games. It's really hard to say, and I'm sure that's going to drive Light crazy here. But we're going into Sylphid 3, a great map, a kind of small map, so I think that could work towards Light's favor.
Could be right about that. We're actually ready to go into this game right now, guys. The winner of this best of 3 is the first player to move on to the round of 8. Light for Shine comes to its final match right now.
So we have Light there at 12 o'clock. And Shine here, the right-hand side.
I love this map. Big fan of this map, man.
It's a great map. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
We're getting a new ladder season, right? Is this going to be in that map pool? I hope it is.
I hope so. I would love to have Sylphid back, honestly. This is, in my opinion, the best 3-player map ever made.
Yeah, I basically agree with you. It makes for some great games. I think it's different enough from other maps, too. It's actually adding something. Every once in a while, we have maps that are made that people really like, and I'm like, yeah, but it's basically the same as the other maps we had before, you know? People were too safe.
That's why it's so great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Sylphid, I feel like, has some different features to it that make it a lot of fun here.
Yeah, and it's kind of a fast-paced map. I like that a lot about it. Like, you see a lot of battles on Sylphid, and you can't really split the map in any matchup, so definitely a lot of fun.
Before this game picks up, guys, we just want to say to all of you out there, thank you for supporting us on Patreon. If you're not supporting us yet, we hope we can get you to join us. That's patreon.com/ASL English. Sign up for a year, $5, $10, whatever you can give. It goes a long way to help us and keep the story of StarCraft alive in English.
That's right. Thank you guys very much. And you can see that, like, players like Shine making it interesting, you know? I mean, I would have been happy if this is like Queen vs. Light and it's just like 2-hatch Muta-type plays and stuff with a little bit of mind games. But this complete mind gamery. I feel like I've missed Shine lately, you know? I feel like he went through a little bit of a slump in the past few seasons where, like, some seasons he makes it in, some he doesn't. He doesn't go deep. But here he is, battling for first place in, like, you know, the last season's champions group.
Yeah, I mean, he's a great player. It's cool when you see his stuff work out. And, you know, especially, like, with players like Light, it's like, damn, man, you've got a crazy approach. And if this can beat Light, I mean, stick with what you're doing. You know, there's nothing, just because this isn't the builds that everybody else does, doesn't mean you shouldn't be trying it, you know. He's like found his voice, so to speak. You know, like they talk about that in writing. Like you gotta find your voice. But like he's got his approach to the game, and I mean this is a player that really, you know, you can celebrate StarCraft because it can allow players like this to make games like what we've seen so far, and we'll probably see in this game now.
You know the funny thing here, Tastosis, that I'm thinking about those games, like especially that last game. Shine versus a B-rank player in the last game probably would have lost. Because the B-rank player wouldn't have been smart enough to make tanks, and then he would just have like 2 starport vessels, and Shine would be like, what? You have like 4 irradiates? What's going on
Oh,
here?
yeah, we were talking about that. I think it was like before. I mean, it was on our break or before we started. I can't remember.
Commercial break or something.
Yeah, like I almost got to S. Like I've been streaming my usual schedule. I got so close, and then I tanked my MMR. I like fell back down into B, and it's like there is something to this thing where like you start to play against people that aren't really watching what you're doing that closely, and therefore like the smart stuff you're trying to do that can trick an S player, or you know the mini games that are happening in each other's heads, they just don't happen at like a B rank in some cases in certain matchups and games. And so like, you know, you end up doing stuff that doesn't quite make that much sense. Like, and you should be able to beat it still, but you have to like also appreciate that they may not react to the stuff that, you know, the data that you're putting out there or that they're seeing.
Totally. Totally brainless, Tasteless. I hate B players as well.
It's rough. Yeah.
We're in total agreement that they are dummies, Tasteless, and they only win because they're bad. But Shine, you know, he throws out these mind games that are so complex that Light gets caught up in them. So what is that going to be this game, or is it even going to exist? Once again, the third hatch with the Hydralisk Den.
Yeah, it's interesting to see that this is just like a core opening for Shine. And he seems to have several branches built into it, depending on the matchup and positions and map. Oh, wait, is he going to just keep making Lings? Hold on. I wonder if like Ling's speed would finish.
I guess it's possible.
I think this is an elaborate ruse. If Ling's speed finishes, I think this is just 3-hatch Ling all in.
You might be right, but he's not going to break him here. Look at that setup. Well, that setup is almost invincible.
Yeah, that's pretty perfect. I don't think there are more Lings coming out. I thought for a second, like, and this is only because I'm trying to, like, go to the 7th layer of hell where Shine's mind is, like, developing builds. Like, I thought maybe he'd make a layer and a den and then just Ling all in. You know?
Yeah.
And just, like, the whole thing is masked. But it's not that. So he's getting lurkers. Hydras are going to come up here. They're going to be morphing just out of range of the expansion.
Some Hydras are coming out. He only has the 1 gas still. I wonder if there's any chance that he actually goes like Hydraling and tries to bust or something like that. That would be absolute madness.
I think he is.
He runs up with these Lings, but there's 2 fire bats there, so it's not going to end well.
That was really good control by Light. Like, he knew exactly when to not move. Nice snipe from the Hydras. He's got to be careful, man. Those are supposed to be lurkers. You know. Oh, this is actually...
Are they?
I think so.
Yeah, well, probably, but you never know with Shine. Okay, there he goes. He does start to morph into lurkers, but this is a tough position. The fire bats that are coming out here for Light are just massacring. He got some fantastic trades overall. And just barely, it seems like Shine is not really able to break stuff. Look at this great body blocking, though, with the Lings. Trying to get that medic down so hard, but just... Oh, he just barely will get it.
Damn. I do feel like this game is already getting pretty bad, though, here for Shine.
For sure.
He's basically going to do an all-in, but he already lost, like, the big chunk of his stuff. He wanted to have, like, 5 lurkers, I think, coming up here.
Yeah, he doesn't have enough to really blast through a bunker. Once you get up to a good amount, like 5, 6 lurkers, that type of stuff, even when, like, you have to repair as Terran, but all your SCVs blow up every volley. So it's like, you're basically spending all of your SCVs to live through the all-in at that point. But as is, 2 lurkers don't really do anything, and you can see Light just pushing them back easily.
And I think Light knows there's a clock on Shine right now. I think he knows that this is already kind of going bumpy. He scanned and saw there was a sparse number of drones at the natural. He's going to peek it again, and he sees there's only 4 drones mining minerals. So, like, that's not the right number. Clearly, drone production was sacrificed. Oh, and this is a great poke out here. He's going to get 2 lurkers and then just run back to safety. And I think this is going to be a pretty abysmal game, Artosis. I feel like he's just going to kind of fizzle out here. You know,
yeah, this is one of those fizzle games we talked about with Shine, where like he had ideas and none of them went right, and he's just getting bashed. That's like exactly what we're looking at. Nothing really came close to hurting Light. Everything got blocked, and you can see that he is just like it doesn't look good. It isn't good. Shine is getting destroyed.
Yeah, Shine is getting wrecked right now. And I mean, I would almost imagine maybe Drop is going to come in here in a second or something, just because Shine has this way of layering the surprises better than anybody else, where like right when you think that that's done, like you're already into plan C and D. But, you know, honestly, I think that Light has played an extremely clean game. I think that he was a little bit too open about the Lings with speed, and that sort of... you know, allowed Light to just, you know, naturally defend what was coming at him. And, I mean, obviously, look, we're not out of the game yet, but, I mean, things just are looking pretty grim. We keep seeing lurkers come in and it just gets surrounded like this.
Yeah, I tell you, I'm out of the game, Tastosis.
Yeah,
there's no way a Zerk can win from this.
We'll type in GG here and we'll go.
We'll do it for him. Some offensive GG's commentators,
right,
but that's it. Yeah. You know what? It honestly, it felt like Shine should have won 2-0 and ends up losing 1-2. But definitely putting on a great show here against Light despite the rough third game. And Light advances in first place as expected, but maybe not as easy as he thought it would be.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Shine clearly reminding even Light of all people that he's a threat, he's hard to play against. And it's too bad. I mean, Shine was basically, you know, having this degree of momentum that looked unstoppable, wasn't able to get the closer. Light stuck to his guns, kept his cool, and powered through that third game. And so Light's going to move on to the round of 8.
ASL 시즌 14 16강 A조 경기 함께하고 계십니다. 오늘의 첫 번째 8강 진출자 디펜딩 챔피언 이재호 선수와 함께하겠습니다. 축하드립니다. 8강 진출에 성공하긴 했지만 가슴을 쓸어내릴 뻔한 장면들이 굉장히 많았을 것 같습니다. 어려운 순간들 그래도 극복해낸 게 바로 이재호 선수의 저력이 아닐까 싶은데요. 먼저 진출 소감 좀 여쭤볼게요.
일단 오늘 좀 쉽게 생각하고 왔는데 승자전에서 이제 이영환 선수의 그 일격을 당하다 보니까 정신을 못 차리겠더라고요. 그래서 오늘 최종전까지 가겠는걸 이 생각을 했는데 그 희망의 끈을 놓지 않고 계속 끈기 있게 했던 게 좀 역전의 발판이 됐던 것 같아요.
이영환 선수의 승자전 첫 번째 세트는 이재호 선수가 원어원 전략을 썼는데 약한 타이밍에 이영환 선수가 잘 파고들었습니다. 이 두 번째 세트 사실 가디언 전략에 레이스가 아니었다면 무너졌겠다라는 생각이 드셨을 것 같아요. 어떤 마음으로 좀 막으셨나요?
사실 계속 보면서도 이게 뭐지 이게 뭐지 이 생각을 계속 했어요. 계속 하면서 게임을 했는데 갑자기 뮤탈리스크가 뜨더니 갑자기 가디언까지 뜨는 거예요. 와 이거는 전략이 진짜 미쳤다. 이건 질 수밖에 없다 이 생각을 했는데 또 그것도 운 좋게 또 막다 보니까 오히려 이제 그 경기 이겨서 이제 영환이가 좀 많이 흔들렸던 게 아닌가 생각이 듭니다.
그 경기의 승패가 결국에는 이 이재호 선수를 8강에 올려둔 게 아닌가 싶었는데 마지막 세 번째 세트에서는 오히려 이재호 선수가 손이 좀 완전히 풀렸구나라는 생각이 들었거든요. 어떠셨어요?
일단 3번 연속 저한테 3회 처리라는 전략을 사용을 하길래 당연히 또 이거는 뭔가 다른 게 있겠구나 생각을 했었고 그래서 좀 더 저글링 같은 걸 더 의식을 했거든요. 근데 마침 또 확인을 하는 바람에 그건 좀 쉽게 이긴 것 같아요.
올인인 걸 확인하고 이재호 선수는 경기를 끝내고 다시 한번 8강에 올라섰습니다. 본인이 만든 A조였기 때문에 자신감 반면에 또 부담도 있으셨을 것 같은데 이런 것들을 또 이겨냈기 때문에 8강 경기가 더욱더 기대되거든요. 이재호 선수 어떠세요?
일단 지난 시즌에도 제가 24강, 16강에서 좀 경기력이 안 좋았었는데 오늘도 좀 연습은 많이 했는데 좋았다고 생각은 안 들고요. 이제 상위 라운드에서 이제 좀 더 분발해가지고 경기력 좀 끌어올려야 될 것 같아요.
8강에서 이재호 선수가 보여줄 멋진 다전제 경기 기대하고 있겠습니다. 팬분들께도 한마디 전해주시죠.
일단 오늘 되게 걱정하시는 분들이 많았는데 1등으로 진출하게 돼서 굉장히 다행이라 생각이 들고요. 그리고 연습 도와준 그 친구들 좀 언급하고 싶은데 정영재 선수랑 그다음 유승본 선수, 박준호 선수, 그다음 조기석 선수가 좀 많이 도와줬고요. 그리고 오늘 현장까지 와가지고 응원해준 우리 구단주님 그리고 기석이에게 또 고맙다는 말 전하고 싶습니다.
네, 이재호 선수 다시 한번 8강 진출 축하드리고요. 8강에서 멋진 모습 기대하겠습니다. 인터뷰 고맙습니다.
감사합니다.
자, 이렇게 해서 A조의 가장 먼저
그래 걱정 빼고 고민 빼고 맘소리 빼고 This is StarLeague 없어도 되는 건 빼고 실성사이다 제로
아침은 라떼 홀릭 점심은 라떼 홀릭 저녁엔 라떼 홀릭 둥글하게 달콤하게 라떼 홀릭 달달한 충전이 필요할 땐 칸타타 라떼 홀릭
상큼함 맥스 칼로리 X 맛있는 탐스 제로 요즘 제일 탐나는 제로 탐스 제로 같이 떠나볼래?
Welcome back, everybody. We are going into the losers match of Group A here. This is going to be a Terran versus Terran, Mong versus Barracks. I'm not really too sure what to expect, Tastosis. How about you?
Well, actually, I think it'll be a big series. I think this is going to take a long time, Tasteless. I think you're in for some masterful TVT here because, Barracks is very modern. He's very good at openers, but Mong is very solid macro-wise. So I don't think either of these guys are going to be dying anytime soon. As far as who's going to win, I can really see it going either way. I think that Barracks needs the early advantage.
Okay.
And if he does not get some sort of edge, I favor Mong. So I think it really comes down to that. What openers do they choose, and how do they execute them in the very early stages of the game?
Yeah, I mean, Barracks is, he looked very good against Light, honestly. I mean, it's hard to...
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I mean, Light's a scary guy to play against. Mong, I don't think he looked bad either earlier. I think they're both in pretty good shape. We are going to be going on to the map Butter to start this off, as it is a best of 3 with Nemesis and Sylphid for map 2 and 3.
Butter should be very interesting. Should be factor expands both sides. Probably a lot of factories, a lot of vultures before we really get going, since it is a 2-player map. So yeah, let's see who can be tighter in that early game.
Yeah. Let's do it, guys. This is game 1 in the best of 3 to decide who will go on and face off against Shine in our final match of Group A.
All right, in the bottom right, we have our more experienced veteran, Mong. And in the top right, our more recently rising Terran in Barracks. So, I gotta say, I think if I'm Shine, I'm hoping that Mong advances, I think, over Barracks. I think Barracks is a little bit harder for Shine to play against. That's just kind of my gut feeling as far as styles go.
Okay.
I always like to kind of think about that, like if I'm waiting, like who do I actually want to play, right? Like, and if I'm Shine, it's probably Mong again, since his TVZ is kind of his weakest and everything, right? He doesn't do super modern openers normally. But, yeah, as far as this match goes, it seems pretty even to me.
Yeah, I don't think there's a clear favorite here. Yeah, man. I mean, let's get into this game, dude. See what they're gonna do. I don't think anybody's gonna go CC first, but let's wait and see.
No. Yeah, less likely on this map.
I'm sorry, with Barracks, was that a very late depot?
Yes, it certainly was. That means he's going 10-10-10. That's wild.
Oh, okay. Excuse me. Okay.
Yeah. So that's very weird to see. It's either him making a terrible mistake, or it's like a 10-10-10 build. So yeah, there's the 10 Barracks and there's the 10 gas. So that gas, to put this into perspective, it's about 18 seconds quicker than it would have been with a normal factory expand. So that is like a Vulture build time.
Okay.
Right? So like you will just have like quicker Vulture and more Vultures than your opponent, if that's what you're going for. Obviously there's like a lot of things you could do from here, but just to put it into perspective, right? If you both go Factory and Vulture, you're going to have one more as Barracks with this build.
Okay, interesting. Now, how does that pair up against Mong with a Barracks out in the center of the map? I mean, this is kind of an intel build here for him. What happens when these two situations occur?
I like Mong's situation, honestly. Like, I don't know exactly what the plan is. Like, yeah, look at this. Okay, so he's going to throw this down. Again, that's about 18 seconds faster, yeah. With Mong, I like the fact that his Barracks will get there very, very quickly. And then he can see if anything's up. Because I don't know what Barracks' actual plan is. There's something there, obviously. Like, a build like this, like when you get something that much quicker, for instance, if, let's say that Mong went for like a gasless expansion, there's a chance the Vulture gets there just before the bunker is ready, right? Because it's just the timing is so different here. But as Mong comes into the base and sees the speed of the factory, he's going to look at that and say, oh gosh, yeah, that's rather quick. Like, he may want to play a slightly more defensive game here.
Yeah, it would seem to me that from Mong's perspective, if you just kind of stay back a little bit and don't overcommit. Wow, that's a lot of damage on that SCV. Yeah, as long as you don't overcommit here, you're probably going to be okay.
He might even, like, Mong could make a bunker. He could, like, there's a lot of, like, choices that he can make here. With Barracks, if Barracks just makes Vultures, like, non-stop here, for instance, it can kind of force Mong to either go bunker or go Vulture non-stop, right? Because if you're going to be up one Vulture, look at that. There we go. We finally see what Barracks' actual plan is. A second proxied factory.
So does he want to make more Vultures out of that? Or is that to maybe make a tank from?
No, he should be going into an armory here. So it'll be Vulture for a little bit into Goliaths likely. But see that bunker right there, Tasteless? That is basically the hard counter to this build.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, Vultures and Goliaths are not exactly ideal units to fight, a bunker. The bunker's a funny thing because, a lot of games will see Dragoons blow it up or, like, Lurkers. We've had Lurkers busting bunkers here, but the bunker is very good against certain units like Hydralisks or Vultures or Goliaths where, like, they just don't do that much damage to it.
They do not. And look at this blocking right here. Amazing, amazing blocking. The Vultures will get in, but as soon as the unit pops out, those Vultures are dead. I think he's making a tank is what it looks like, so it's going to be a little bit. There is going to be some damage dealt. He is making a Wraith as well, which isn't going to fare all that well if it is a Goliath build. But I see that Barracks actually made an add-on at home, so it might not be Goliath. It could actually end up being 2 factory siege tank here.
He's getting a lot of SCVs.
This is insane.
Well, it's the funniest thing, right? Because, like, first of all, it's a bit random what the bunker targets. And it should be noted that every Marine in the bunker will find a different target. It could end up being all the same unit or not. So what happened back there was like the vultures basically got through because they weren't receiving enough damage at all. So it was like a kind of a perfect pairing there for Barracks.
And I want to throw something out there that people don't realize, like the tightness of some of these builds in TVT. That vulture we saw Mong send out as a scout that got caught, if he had kept that behind his bunker, he would have taken literally 0 damage. Literally 0. It would have been a rout. Barracks wouldn't have been able to do anything, but instead he lost it, so he lost like 1 million SCVs, which is, I mean, that's the funniness of early TVT and why I talk about trying to be tight in the matchup. Now, Barracks comes up, sieges up. My God. This is, like, there is a lot of damage incoming here from Barracks. What an interesting build. And now with his own Goliath walking over, dude, he's got this game.
Yeah, I think this
game is over.
This is a very cool opening here. Now, there's spider mines.
Yes.
You know, 2 tanks can shoot down 2 spider mines, but they got... Oh!
And he'll repair. I think he should be able to have that live. I think Mong is actually going to leave this game in a minute. Like, there's really no point at this.
Yeah, especially with that race die, and that's it. GG. Cool game, man. All right. So much for our long game.
That was super interesting. Yeah, and the thing is, I think that the next couple games could go very long between these two. And Barracks caught Mong for sure. A big part of that was his vulture leaving the base. He wasn't really sure what was going on. And I think the path he took maybe was not ideal either. Because he just ran into the army. Like, if he gets the vulture around, that's good. If he gets it, if he keeps it behind the bunker, that's the best for this particular build that he just played against. But at the end of the day, that was a very all-in cheesy build from Barracks, and Mong was unable to hold, which happens. Like, sometimes you guess the wrong thing that's happening, and you just die in TVT.
Yeah. Well, that does that. We're going to go to Nemesis here for Game 2. Mong on the ropes right now. Barracks coming in here with the prep. The question now is going to be, how does he want to try to play it out on this map? Because obviously you can't, do proxy builds like that over and over again. So we don't really know where these guys are going to be at yet in a macro game. Anyways, guys, game number 2 is now loaded up. Let's get into that right now.
So we have Mong here in the top left. And in the top right, we have Barracks. So they are sharing that 12 o'clock base. This map makes me think it's like going to be all long TVTs. The center is all like high ground, low ground. And then you have all these like bases that can basically only be gotten to via drops. So like this could be a BC map, this could be a mass dropship map. Well, it would start as a mass dropship and then maybe turn into BC if everything's defended well.
I think you're probably right.
It's hard to imagine this one ending quickly.
Yeah, well, especially the center of the map and movement around that. And, yeah, I mean, let's do it, man. Let's go into an epic TVT here. Mong, again, I don't think that last game can really be representative of what, his TVT is going to be like. I mean, I think Barracks got, especially when the Vultures got in and did the damage, and then Mong had a bad read on it, the whole situation, the tanks came in. I mean, it was a very technical takedown. But I want to see these guys in kind of a powering macro game and see what kind of game we're going to get from them.
Yeah, I would like to see that as well. I mean, I like big macro TVTs and seeing the different high-level moves that are being made. Like, I really enjoyed watching Light kind of out-fence Barracks in a way in their Vermeer game that we saw earlier today, the first map of the night. But honestly, seeing a technical build like that from Barracks is very, very impressive stuff. Like, he's been bringing a new level of early game pressures out. And, like, if you recall, Tastosis, actually, when Barracks played in his previous round. You remember his games against Shuttle where he was doing really interesting and very different Marine tank pushes?
Yeah, I do. That was very cool.
He ended up saying in his interview that Flash helped him with those builds.
Oh, wow.
So that's like, isn't that funny, right? Like that really kind of changes things, because honestly, we both thought that Shuttle kind of should have won those games, and like Barracks pulls it out, and here he is, and now he's just killed Mong in a game. Is he going to have another one of these builds that we're really not expecting?
Yeah, that would be interesting. You know, having the prep for those builds is key, and I think that's you can see Barracks is becoming more and more of like a tournament viable player. You know, coming in here with the prep, he's got very specific ideas. Shine, by the way, as well. I think a tournament level player here. You know, his play style is so eccentric that it's almost a meme, but. You know, it's important. Like, to be honest, this is going to probably make a lot of people mad. Like, watching how Mini played earlier in this season, where he it was like a best of one he was facing elimination. He did like a risky build, making the forward slater. Remember this?
Yes, for sure.
That's not a tournament build, for a best of one. I don't know. I look at that, I'm like, what are you doing, man? That's so strange.
Well, for him at his level, that seems insane. Right?
Yeah,
that's not how we think about the game, that's for sure.
You just look at that, you go, dude, that's not it. I mean, I don't know. He's crazy. By the way, this game is going to be 2-factory into proxied starport. So it actually is...
This is not common at all, Tastosis.
No,
this is way out there for
I was about
Barracks.
to say, I don't know when I've seen 2 factories in the main and then the starport hidden. Okay, do you know what this is? Because I actually have no idea what's going on.
Well, it has to be vulture drops. I guess there's a small chance that it could be vulture into wraith, but it should be straight up vultures plus a dropship, I think, because a bunker would counter way too much otherwise. Okay. I think. But yeah, it's super weird here. I haven't quite seen anything like this. Yeah, there's the add-on. And I guess we'll just see if... Here's the thing. If Mong produces vultures non-stop out of that one barracks and goes into an armory, that gives him potential to counter everything that's happening right now. If you do not get add-ons, but if he gets an add-on on that factory, it becomes way harder to do. And look, he just made his 4th vulture. Oh man, this looks pretty good for Mong right now, honestly. He has his expansion up. He can take a little bit of damage. It looks like it's a vulture drop, but he's literally going to match the amount of vultures.
This is so strange. Oh, this is so weird. Okay, so he's got him matched. There's the 5th vulture.
And yeah, look at this. He sees what's going on. So he's just producing. He just started his add-on. But he's got 5 or 6 vultures, so it looks like he's pretty safe. Okay, he cancels. Wow. So he is playing this as safe as you can get. This non-stop production, this is the last thing you want to hit as Barracks. If there were add-ons, if he was trying to make a tank, Barracks has a good chance of winning this game by just dealing huge amounts of damage. But as is right here, it's okay, yeah, he drops out these vultures. They have speed. They probably have mines or about to have mines. But do vultures care about that?
No.
He's just going to walk up and kill him now.
Yeah. It's interesting, too, on this map. You can see there's this high ground area. You can basically set up stuff. You can drop units in safely. Is it possible for 4 vultures to stop 5 vultures if they stay at the ramp? I guess not. Vultures are such slippery units. I think this game is almost done, it feels like. I mean, if, he doesn't get in there and start to do some real damage, I don't know what he will get done, right?
Certainly, he did a little bit of damage with that run into the natural, but I certainly like this game right now for Mong. Mong, okay, now this is good. The 4 vultures are going to get picked off by 5, and then the mines come up and they connect. Aces. That's the greatest repair I've ever seen.
Yeah, that was pretty sick.
That actually just saved him. If he had lost the vultures at his natural, that means more vultures come in and lay mines, and you have the same problem with the Goliaths coming up again. So that almost went terribly wrong for Mong, and then he just held because of a perfect repair.
So he's got Cloak.
Very impressive stuff.
He's got Cloak. Wow, 1 HP Goliath here, too. I guess the attack's going to continue on here. Now, the vultures They're just going to lay mines, and that should... I can't believe this.
This is insane. Everything's on fire right now. Like, everything is going wrong and right for these guys. Like, Mong has the build pretty well countered. He's starting to hold everything, but a lot of damage is still being dealt. Barracks, like, he still hasn't started a command center. He's not even particularly close to having enough minerals right now. So, you know, even if you're losing SCVs, you produce 2 at a time here, and you're pretty good here as Mong, as long as you hold on.
Yeah, I mean, all Mong has to do is kind of stabilize and keep making SCVs. The late CC is going to be extremely punishing here for Barracks. Honestly, Barracks almost won this like 2 or 3 times in this position. It's kind of crazy. And there's going to be another drop up here. Now, what's in the main? I see 1, 2 Goliaths, and then, yeah, not much else. I mean, look, the rush is still going to go on, man. Right now, Barracks still an absolute threat for sure here.
Ooh, picks off a Goliath as well, picking off a few SCVs here and there. Barracks is doing a really good job with what he's got. It's kind of a tough position. It's the last thing he wanted to fight against, but he's still making headway in certain ways. He started his command center at home, and honestly, he's banked so much gas, like he didn't take his SCVs off gas at any point. So he can do things here like switch into siege tanks and maybe make this into a macro game at this point. Has he done enough damage to do that? I think maybe he has.
What a strange game. Yeah, you might be right. Is there going to be an opportunity for Mong to come out on the map and try to attack in here? It does seem like Barracks is still generating threats. Looks like another dropship. Maybe it's a Wraith. I'm not sure what it is being made down there at the starport.
Well, you can always, like, threaten dropping some more vultures in, so you do want to be a little bit careful about sending too many units out onto the map. And honestly, like, the time frame for him moving out, if Barracks switches into siege tanks, he should have enough that it won't be an issue. Oh god, he lured him to the mines, Tastosis. Amazing.
That's so
amazing.
Funny. So, you know, what now, man? I mean, I guess the SCV count probably not terrible for Mong. He's been remaking the whole time. He's lost a lot of workers. But does Barracks actually have more SCVs right now? Do you know?
I don't know for sure, but I think that Barracks actually has more.
That's wild.
I'm fairly certain that he has slightly more SCVs here.
The mining does look healthier. Yeah.
Yeah, it does, right? Like, just a little bit on both locations. He lost his barracks and everything, but they're both on 2 factories. So he's just starting to make siege tanks. He's already got, like, 4. So he's going to get himself into a position here where Mong can't really actually hurt him. So, like, it seems weird, Tastosis, but sometimes games that open with a cheese like this, you can just switch over into producing nothing but siege tanks for a while, and you actually get into a macro position. So, I think this is going to go long. Like, I don't know that there's going to be a window for someone to kill the other one.
It does seem like that, doesn't it? And yeah, with all the extra gas that was banked up here from Barracks, I mean, he's going to have a healthy amount of tanks. He can kind of probably do whatever he really wants here for the time being. A little drop up here. This is kind of funny. What do you think about this? This doesn't feel like it's a very efficient thing to do right now. I don't even really see the function of it, to be honest.
I think he's looking to deal any damage to slow him down at all, whatever he can do, while he gets the rest of his production going. And honestly, I liked Mong's idea of making the Wraith to try to catch the dropship, but he didn't get it. So
yeah.
It seems like things, you know, yeah, he killed the drop and didn't really take too much damage, but I don't think that Barracks cares about that right now.
Now, I do want to point out on this map, this area we're looking at right here, there's like this high ground area. You probably could put tanks up there in mass and drop that, right? And do a lot of damage. I mean, there's not a lot of factories over there, but I'm sure eventually as the game goes on, there will be. And that could be like some prime real estate to try to capture moving forward here.
Oh, those will definitely turn into weak points eventually. Like, that's an area that you really have to pay attention to once dropship numbers start getting high. Notice Barracks right now, he is sending a couple SCVs through. I'm not sure exactly what his aim is. I'd be surprised if he expanded to there. But he might be. And just kind of opening everything up. Oh, look at that. Yeah, Barracks takes that base. How interesting.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Well, I guess, you know, I think he's going to be doing a lot of drops here in the main. He kind of has this starport tech lead. It's already been substantial, right? I mean, we already see the Wraiths coming out here and doing the damage you need to do. But when he starts to get dropships, he can basically expand to 12 o'clock and at the same time attack his opponent in the main, and that, you know, actually kind of inadvertently defends 12 o'clock at the same time. Does that make sense? So, like,
yeah.
It's there's certain patterns you can look for like this. It's like, you know, these games where you'll expand towards the opponent, but you're pushing the whole time and attacking. So it's like they don't really have any opportunity to come in there and counterattack because you didn't expand in some direction that they can come in from. But, I mean, it could go either way. It could backfire. It could be a moment where Mong just gets a dropship lead and then can just, you know, try to counterattack that. And let's say that that happens that way, then Mong's base down here at 9 o'clock is basically safe.
Okay, I like what you're saying. The one thing is that I don't think Barracks' central position lines up with 12 o'clock. Like, the fact that he's trying to siege the center but also wants to hold on to 12 doesn't seem to make sense. Like, his units are so far off. And Mong, actually, he drops a few units in there. There's still, like, an opportunity here for Barracks to run up and clear this out. His SCV's drilling in right now. He actually turns them around again. I think he wants to fight with them at this point. And Mong not with quite enough units in here, so Barracks is actually going to go ahead and eliminate this little drop and hold on to that 12 for now.
Yeah, this...
Oh, but yeah, see this? Like, exactly. Like, Mong is... Suddenly this base is worthless.
Yeah, it's... You know, I think that he tried to do too many things at once. I don't think you could try to have that center control and then also...
Yeah.
You know, take an island that is, you know, obviously susceptible to anything that can drop it. Now, Barracks is going to try to use that imbalance and the fact that he's lost 12 o'clock to try to push down here into the natural. The thing is, I don't know that it's going to work. Also, notice that the starport is floating, the one that was proxied earlier on. And so he's actually making another starport back at home, but basically Barracks is not making dropships right now, which are probably the most important units to have after tanks.
On this map, 100%.
Yeah.
Like, this is clearly a dropship map, as you can see. Like, he's setting up all these very strong positions. Seems like Barracks still has enough that he's okay for now, but he is losing ground. It doesn't feel like, even though he has siege tanks outside of Mong's base, contains are not going to be very strong on this map comparatively because it is such a dropship map. And you can see Mong, he's just like, yeah, now I bring units over here. And now he might even drop on those tanks. And what are you going to do now? Ooh, nice mine drag there as well. Unloading, going to be able to pick off a bunch of tanks here. Vulture's coming up and trying to lay their offensive mines. But he's just going to start picking up.
And, I mean, it looks like Barracks is going to defend this. But again, Mong he's mining on 3 bases, man. I mean, that's all we need to say here. We can watch these skirmishes, but, I mean, oh, no. Is he going to try to push into this? This seems like a mistake.
It's a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Goliaths in there. Like, if you just move attack, like, you're going to be able to clear these tanks. And you see Mong doing that pretty quickly. Barracks actually trades slightly better than I thought he would as those vultures come up. But honestly, I like this spot for Mong. I don't feel like Barracks has made any real headway. He's still floating around, finally finds a home for that command center. But Mong seems to have, like, control with his dropships.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Barracks is actually in such a bad spot at this point in time. I mean, he's really paid for that base, and now actually Mong's going to do the same thing. Mong is probably going to take this to a game 3, this looks like.
It really does look that way.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to wrap my head around anything that Barracks can do to recover. And he's starting to make some pretty bad errors here. Like, when he tried to push those tanks there, it's like, what do you expect? That's his rally point.
Yeah, I think he just felt like there was no other option. He had his army in the middle. Why not? But Honestly, I think that just the big mistake was having his units all in the middle. Like, maybe if he had killed the eggs really quickly that went to 12, then he could have quickly reinforced from the center, right? But instead, it was like that was an island, and most of his army was in the center, and he was trying to, like, push and defend a location against someone with more dropships. It didn't work out all that well together, despite the fact I think that Barracks prepared better for this match.
Yeah, well, Barracks came in here with a plan, but there really is an art to, like, post-proxy. You know, I mean, a lot of games, you know, when there's proxies, the proxier doesn't win right away or doesn't lose right away, right? I mean, and you have to kind of know the sequence of, all right, now let's go back into a macro game. Well, if we're going to macro, where do I want to expand? A lot of the parameters of the early game are entirely different because I hit buildings here and there. And I think what happened here is Barracks should have just taken 3 o'clock for him and continued to expand towards the south, and instead he, like, put his tanks in the middle of the map and then took a base that was just droppable. And I think on this map especially, it's obvious that if you're both sharing the top of the map, there's going to be a lot of air traffic through the top of the map, right? And if you're going to do it,
For sure,
if you're
yeah.
going to expand there, okay, that's fine, but then you also need to defend it, and you need to play around the fact that there's a vulnerability there, and that just isn't what he did. Oh man, watching units try to squeeze between these assimilators is brutal.
Yeah.
That was just like my butt clenched when I saw that happen.
my
I was
God.
like, oh no.
Tastosis, look at the amount of Goliaths that Mong has. I feel like I'm watching one of my replays where I'm like, oh damn, I made too many Goliaths. He's got like way more than what he actually
It's like
wants
my
right now.
PVZs where I make too many Templars. I go back, I'm like, 8?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't need 8 Templars. I can't. No one needs to storm that much.
Yeah. I'm like, listen, man, 16 Goliaths is simply too much unless you're fighting BCs.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
what are we doing?
But it happens, man, in these big macro games where you're trying to just crank out, you know, as much as you can, that you come back and go, well, that's actually not ideal. All right.
Not the comp I was looking for, but I guess we'll go. He's still in good spot, though, and he is playing against a fair amount of wraiths from Barracks right now. He's taking this high ground position. Barracks trying to push back, but you can really see this game starting to shift towards Mong. I guess it has for a little bit, but look, he actually ran out of all those Goliaths. Like, they ran into siege tank fire a little bit, and suddenly, Barracks clears his high ground right there with the wraiths.
This is a very grindy game here. Upper hand still going to Mong. And I do want to point out the supplies in this game because that is the story here. Okay, this is kind of crazy. Is that enough Goliaths to fight the Wraiths? How many Wraiths are there?
Ooh, yeah, that's enough Goliaths. To kill that many Goliaths, you need like 16 Wraiths or something.
Okay.
It's,
actually, I thought
that's 5 Goliaths is pretty good.
I actually thought there was more Wraiths than there were there. Yeah, 4 Goliaths can kill a lot.
Now the egg's going to be picked off. It looks like 3 o'clock's going to be dead. That bottom right base doesn't really have any way for Barracks to get units down there. He's down 50 supply. I think we're basically at the end.
I think so. You know, a lot of SCVs are going to get killed off over here. And, you know, this all kind of goes back to the expansion at 12, man. You know, all these decisions, they follow you through the game. And, yeah, I mean, it's rough. I don't know what the SCV count is either, but, you know, Mong has definitely taken revenge for the deaths of his SCVs early on here. Kind of funny, Mong not mining at all in his main. I don't know what happened there. You know, StarCraft is a hard game. Sometimes you're going too fast, you transfer too much, but that is one slight misstep that he's got there. I think this might actually end with the next drop over here at the Natural.
I think you're right about that. 1 tank and 3 vultures. Not going to stand up to like 8 dropships worth of units as he does offload that. Barracks doing a little bit of counter harassment here with his vultures. That's nice, but like the writing really is on the wall. These +2 siege tanks on high ground are not going to fall.
Yeah, and again, you know, if you control the stairs here where we see these tanks are next to, they can't get out of their base. That's actually more important even than stopping that Natural from mining. So
Barracks doesn't have dropships, does he?
No, something weird happened this game where like he didn't land the starport at the bottom left, and then he didn't make an add-on. So there you go. I mean, it's like this is, by the way, so clearly a good dropship map. Now, look, he's going to kill those dropships. That's cool. But, I mean, Mong's, yeah, that's it. That's it. GG. 2 proxy builds in a row. First one worked out. The second one, Mong shut down. We're going to go to the third match now in this best of 3 and find out who's the first player to be eliminated in the round of 16.
Really excellent read from Mong, I think, to start this game out, especially when he canceled that add-on. That was like the safety, super awesome play, because any sort of one base of Ultra build just dies if you don't make add-ons, right? Like, it's incredibly strong, the counter that Mong did there. So very well done, and pretty good fundamental play to follow up, too, because I think Barracks, like, he wiggled his way into at least an even position, despite the fact that his build got countered. So honestly, looking at this series so far, I think Barracks has come much more prepared and is actually playing a very good mid-game, but not a perfect mid-game, which is where Mong got him there.
Yeah, I think Mong just kind of streamlined that. Yeah, dude, you got to get dropships, man. All there is to it, especially on that map. We're going to go to our third map now, guys, and close out the series between Mong and Barracks.
So at 12 o'clock, we have Mong, and in that left-hand spawn, we have Barracks. Sylphid is one of my favorite TVT maps of all time, Tasteless, because you can't split it. Like, the games become insane if it becomes a big macro game where you can't really kill each other. Where, if the map begins to split, like, in this, on these spawns, it would be Mong, like, a lot of the time, what will happen is Mong will have, like, the bottom right main, and Barracks will be pushing in through the natural and stuff, and it'll just be this insane battle. So, 3-player maps, I think, in general, are just really awesome TVT.
I think you're probably right about that. It is always exciting to have these epic 4-player map TVTs where the map is cut in half and it comes down to, like, this one base they're fighting over. But I think in some ways, I also prefer the 3-player map TVTs. They're a little bit more action-packed. And
you generally can't see battle cruisers on 3-player maps either, just because there's always like this big advantage disadvantage for whoever has more bases.
And I think it's better if we don't see an inevitability of battle cruisers. I do want to say, like, you know, there's the appreciation for all the beautiful parts of the game you can have there, and then also have a separate view of, like, what is good for the viewer and what is good for kind of the spectator component of the game. And I do feel like, although there have been some epic games of 2 guys amassing battle cruisers, I don't feel like it's always as good. You know what I'm saying?
Tasteless, I not only know what you're saying, I feel it in the depths of my soul.
Yeah.
Because, like, as a Terran player, like, BC games can be beautiful and awesome, and they are, but they are trying, man. Like,
yeah, it's... Like, I'm always...
It's long. It's tiring.
I'm always interested in, like, you know, future of RTS and games like Stormgate and what they're going to do. You know, and you know, we don't know what matchups are going to look like in that game yet. We don't even know that much about that game yet, you know. But I do hope that we don't end up with, you know, these kind of stalematey positions, you know. It's the opposite problem that CVZ has. You know, it's funny because, and I'm not trashing on the game here. You know, but, like, there are some problems with some of the mirror matchups in StarCraft 1. I think PvP maybe suffers from it the least. TVT, I think, is awesome, but, you know, BCs can be rough. ZVZ can just be too short. It's kind of limited, you know, in tech. And then PvP can just have these redundant games where one guy goes DT, the other guy doesn't go detection, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, let's just talk through this, you know?
Yeah, we've definitely casted some of those last season.
We definitely had some of those games last
season.
Where
the DT makes a swipe and GG is called.
Yeah, he just sees the blur and goes, well, I guess my gamble didn't work. But, yeah, I think 3-player maps definitely, I think, offer a better matchup, you know. I think a more action-packed one here. This is going to be the first game that Barracks isn't trying to be sneaky. He's not hiding any buildings, but he is. Whoa, Mong is going to go for 2 factories. Dude, I feel like I never ever cast this many TVTs where it's a lot of one basing and proxying.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my
it's
God!
Actually, dude. Yeah. So Barracks once again went 10-10-10 and is making that center factory. So this is the same build from Barracks as we saw in Butter. So far it's the same. Mong is just going 2 factory and 1 base. And the amount that Mong's build counters what Barracks is doing, if he knows what Barracks is doing, he wins. He might not know exactly, so he could misplay this slightly, right? Like that is certainly a possibility. But when you have both your factories in the same location, and like it's in this kind of defensive stance, and you didn't cut any SCVs, you're just so far ahead, man.
This is exciting. If you're both...
Oh, he scouts
that's
it.
That's crazy. This is much better for Mong now because he has both his factories at home.
So much better.
Note that Barrack, not that Barrack, that factory in the middle of the map for Barracks, this is always hard to cast this guy's game with his name like this. That has an add-on edit. So that's like some actual kind of valuable territory he doesn't want to give up. It's not like it's like one of these 2 factories where if you needed to move it, you just lift it off and no harm, no foul.
Dude, I'm really surprised at Mong not moving out yet. Like, as soon as he saw the add-on start, the add-on takes longer to build than a Vulture. So, like, you get 1 more Vulture out and you go and you can't be stopped, right?
He can actually...
So he comes down here and, okay, he's making a little trap for whatever comes out of there.
Yeah, he basically has this position so that he is going to block it off with the Marine. I love that you can do this in Brood War. I actually kind of wish they kept this in StarCraft too. Just having a spawn point for stuff to come out of, even though this totally didn't work. I think it's just like another fun tactic you can have in the game.
Totally. But Tastosis, this is terrible for Mong. Like, this is so funny because he had the counter build and he had the intel and he just didn't do anything with it. He sat there, he made more vultures, and now there's tanks out. And like, if Barracks pulls away at the correct times and moves forward at the correct times, he's in good shape. But look, Mong is coming out. This is really smart. Goliaths beat tanks right at the beginning of the game.
Yeah,
right at
and
the
they
beginning,
can actually
like right now.
chase him, like you can see here. They can kind of moving shot him and get him. And you know, this is not a whole lot to work with here for Barracks. He's starting to drop stuff. He's going to get over that machine shop here. Oh, man, he's eating a few stray tank shots there.
Yeah,
what is it, mines
he's got to be so
being
careful
upgraded
about
there?
that. I think so. I think so. Like, it could be speed, but one or the other. It takes another tank shot on those Goliaths. Like, he's added a 3rd factory, and this is the correct play. Like, he needs to just make Goliaths and catch Barracks, like, being a little bit too forward. Because you can do those moving shots with the Goliaths. Like, you can make them shoot really rapid fire and move forward with them, and they build faster than tanks, too. But tanks with the right micro, with some mines and everything, absolutely smash after a little bit.
Well, he's going to take the Barracks out now. Keep in mind, nobody's expanded, guys. Nobody has a command center yet. So, I mean, that's kind of crazy for TVT. I mean, so much of this is oftentimes 2 guys just getting CCs out right away. The tension keeps building. Barracks does appear to be closing in. These are vastly different techs. This is like Mass Goliath now versus Vulture tank.
Oh,
and
the mines are such an issue here.
They're brutal,
like,
man.
He needs to, like, trip all those mines with a Goliath, I think, because maybe he got a scan? Like, if he has a scan, like, you can gun the mines down quickly. Okay, this is a nice counterattack, but, yeah, the position right now, I like Barracks here.
Yeah, I like what Barracks has done here. Mong has got a very annoying attack in here, and Barracks is literally not mining right now. I mean, this is actually pretty bad. The Goliaths are going to come around, and it seems like he's sort of found a hole that he can come through here where he's not contained. We're not watching it. Okay, there it is. This is what I was talking about. He can actually just go inside the main.
Oh, he should kill that tank. Oh, that was a missed opportunity. He can kill that tank, and he would have taken like 1 to 2 tank shots. But now there's 4 tanks going for a counterattack against 3 Goliaths. He'll have 6, but it won't beat this. So he's going to have to pull SCVs to fight that. Oh, he's coming back?
Oh, this is wild.
Oh, I think Mong has made like a lot of questionable decisions here.
Well,
I think, if he flanks it though.
This is so weird. Okay, so he's going to come in from this side. He's got, the vultures come into body block, and they do a pretty decent job, but Mong's going to win this, man. He just comes out ahead. This is crazy, dude.
This is crazy.
This is quite the game, man. I don't think I've ever casted a TVT quite like this one, man.
This is an insane one. You can have some funny things happen in these positions, but it seems like Barracks maybe didn't respect the power of Mass Goliath quite a bit. He is trying to siege up at home against this. Maybe there's still a shot here for him if these Goliaths get really wasted into the mines, but it seems like there's just too many Goliaths. You do a scan and attack move, you kill that.
Does he have a scan? I didn't actually see.
He does have a comsat, but like you only get one scan every minute on one comsat.
Okay. I mean, he's going to wait for the next wave to come down here. It's one tank at a time. There's the second. Okay, it's go time here. Mong needs to pull the trigger. And if Barracks survives this, I think the game goes on for a much longer time here. Here we go. There's a scan.
And he's coming in. That blocking eBay, very annoying indeed.
Whoa.
Wow, that was a kind of a big mine hit. And suddenly, all the Goliaths get wasted.
Yeah, look at that.
Holy crap.
It was the eBay in the front. It was so well placed. A command center is going to start way in the back now. I really thought Mong was going to just go in there and snap his neck.
Yeah, I mean, it becomes very problematic with the Goliaths to actually get them up in these positions. Like, mines are there, and there's buildings in the way. Like, Goliath range is pretty good, but siege tanks just kind of shelling them, putting that pressure on, where if you take too many volleys, you're just going to die. And now Mong starts his command center. But at this spot, you have to say that Barracks has the advantage. Like, right? There's no other way to look at this. It's Mass Goliath. These Goliaths just don't scale anymore.
Yeah, I mean, the Goliaths don't really have a function at all. I mean, tanks are actually much better right now. And, you know, the thing to remember with Goliaths, too, they're very, like, kind of average units. They're good. I don't know if I'm saying this right, but, like, they're not fast. They're okay against ground. They're great against air, but, you know, you're fighting Wraiths in the early and mid-game here, so, like, Wraiths just die, you know. But, yeah, like, the Vultures running around, they can kill those SCVs like we just saw. The tanks, I mean, they're kind of the centerpiece of the matchup, you know, and so that's going to give you a lot more to do in a later game here. And we're seeing Mong try to shift gears into a macro game now, but, I mean, Barracks has been on a second base for a long time now and is starting to pedal ahead here.
His economy is looking much better. He's got a lot of tanks, whereas Mong hasn't made a single tank yet. And Mong will probably go into like 3 add-on tanks trying to catch up, but that's not going to give him any opportunities to attack or anything like that, right? Like he's very likely to get contained. Everything is going to fall behind for him. He has to spend all of his gas for the foreseeable future making tanks, which means he won't be able to get dropships, he won't be able to get upgrades. And just looking at the way that this should naturally develop, unless Barracks kind of throws, like walks his tanks into his opponent, he scales so much better.
This has been just so crazy. We're actually at the 12-minute marker here, or we will be in a second here, but wow, like, it's just funny how this game started out, and now it seems like things are going to even out. Oh, hold up, but Barracks has some ambitions to push out. I thought he might be trying to come out here for an attack. When you see your opponent have that many Goliaths, is there like a number of tanks that you're looking for to try to move out on the map?
Honestly, like, I think you just kind of keep making tanks. And, like, for instance, the number he has right here, as long as your opponent doesn't have, like, 16 Goliaths, you're basically good. Like, these Goliaths just do not scale that well. I'm surprised that Mong is even attacking.
I don't know
honestly.
what the rationale is. This is the only way that you're going to get even further behind, honestly. Seems like a misclick there on the Goliath behind the tank. And so that's going to go down. And, like, I just don't think Mong can win this. I feel like one of the difficulties of playing a game that's like this one is it can be hard to know where you're at after the crazy part of the start finished, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of unique situations that happen here. And so when he came out with the 2 tanks, I mean, obviously you can't attack, you know, you even get close to them. If they have 6 to 7 tanks and you have 2, Mong is going to have to deal with a dropship as well here. And just the fact that Mong is sending his stuff out on the middle of the map makes me more worried for him, right? I mean, you know, this drop is probably going to do a lot more damage. Barracks with kind of an obvious drop play here is going to be punishing him again here, and it's going to be a tank all the way in the back. So, you know, Mong's going to have to do some real heavy lifting to try to get rid of this in the back of his base.
It's getting worse and worse for him. Like, Barracks is just kind of running him around. He has higher quality units. Everything is going right for him and poorly for poor Mong here. Like, yeah, he'll clear this, but some units dead, some SCVs dead, some lost mining time. These things are really starting to add up. And as you see Barracks add dropships, already positionally speaking, Mong is very weak against dropship. And then you add in how this game has gone. And it's hard to imagine Mong being able to hold, like, anywhere, really. Like, you can walk your siege tanks up towards the front and then threaten dropping the main and attacking the front at the same time.
Well, I mean, Mong is, you know, defending this now pretty well. Barracks might get the itch to move out here. And, you know, he's going to siege up. Yes, he is. He's got to get rid of these Goliaths over here. Now with upgrades here, I mean, did Mong actually get an upgrade on his tanks? No, I guess neither of them did.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, this type of game, oftentimes you just skip that in order to get more units. Like, +2 is so far off. You're actually pretty sure one of you will be dead before +2 would finish at this point. You know, it's like we used to talk about in StarCraft 2. Like, as soon as you know you can't die, you get your forge. Right? Yep. Like, you're like, oh yeah, we can't kill each other forge time. It's kind of, it can be like that in these TVTs where you can tell by a certain point, you're like, yeah, no one's dying. It's time to upgrade like a madman.
Well, you know, Barracks is going to try to wrap around here and close in on this position. And he does have a superior tank count. He is going to come in with some of these vultures. It seems like Mong might be able to still stabilize. He's not getting too much headway here.
Yeah, he's trying to hold on, and like he almost kind of is, but he kind of also is not, right? Like, look at this, more drops coming in. I like the defense that's being attempted here. Like, he has a mine, he has a couple Goliaths. He's trying to be sparse but efficient. And it's hard to do because the macro engine of Barracks is here, and he's up like 25 supply right now.
Yeah, and these little attacks in like this, I mean, this causes like a huge problem as things really begin to build up. I think he might be able to hit that center right position here. The one that Mong has, I think, what, 4 tanks are over there? Oh, he gets 3 now.
Yeah.
And try to hit that. Did he identify that there's an expand? I guess he's going to see the SCVs now, so he should know that there's a base coming.
Barracks just has so much more, man. He's just like, oh, you have tank siege on there? That's okay, we'll attack up here. And look at this, he's cutting it up. And this allows him to stop any reinforcements from coming down to the space. Honestly, those units should just go up the ramp and sit there. And he should treat that like an island for now. Because Barracks, if he just rallies one more group, he can easily clear everything to the south of this.
Oh, he's going to come in here.
In fact, he might do it. Dude, he took volleys already, and he still just turns around and does it.
All right, he's taking out the tanks there. Mong is contained, not fully, but there's the beginnings. There's like the bone structure of the contain coming in here. But, you know, the problem is that this tank line is getting bigger and bigger. Barracks has tactically set it up so he can keep dropping in here. And he's just going to come in here and wipe this position out. There's just not a lot to do. There's still tanks containing him back at home as well. It looks like Mong's going to try to come out here now. But it's a pretty rough trade, man. This is a very nice spread of tanks. GG, Mong is out of the ASL. And Barracks will go up against Shine, who just barely lost a light in that winner's match earlier in the group.
Yeah, and this is going to be an interesting match. Like, first off, I got to say, Mong vs. Barracks, that was a really entertaining TVT series. Barracks brought a lot of craziness to it. I think that last game could have been Mong's, and it almost was a couple times, but just there was definitely some mistakes. One thing I really thought watching that was that lighter flash win from either side like 4 times. So,
yeah.
It's like I'm certain that Flash would have won like 4 times at least from each side. But some mistakes were made, but it was a fun game. And now going into Barracks versus Shine, I think Barracks has a pretty good shot here. He plays a more modern TVZ. He probably has some really interesting builds that Shine may not be as ready for.
Yeah. This is going to be fun. I look forward to this. I feel like Shine looking on top of the world right now. So might be a tough one here for Barracks. Barracks is having a very dramatic day here in this ASL so far. Guys, after this short little break, we'll be back with that final best of 3. Stick around. We'll see you in a sec.
Up hot for a minute. 그래 걱정 빼고 고민 빼고 망설임 빼고 This is StarLeague. 없어도 되는 건 빼고 실성사이다 제로.
아침은 라떼, 홀릭 점심은 라떼, 홀릭 저녁엔 라떼, 홀릭 둥글하게 달콤하게 라떼 홀릭. 달달한 충전이 필요할 땐 칸타타 라떼 홀릭.
상큼함 맥스, 칼로리 X, 맛있는 탐스 제로. 요즘 제일 탐나는 제로, 탐스 제로. 같이 떠나볼래?
Welcome back, everyone. It's time to close this out with a Terran versus Zerg. And it should be a fun one, man. Shine, this guy always makes for very interesting and very different games. And, honestly, Barracks, this guy's looking solid. He's coming very prepared. He's one of our, up-and-coming Terrans compared to a lot of these other guys that have been giants in the industry for a while. Shine here, a former ASL finalist, only to lose to Flash. There's no shame in that. Who knows how far he'll go if he beats Barracks here tonight.
Yeah, it is a tall order, though. He's shown a lot of different plays. I think that there's been a little bit of time that you can utilize to kind of counter it, right? Like, if I'm Barracks, I'm thinking, okay, he's going 3 hatch with a Hydralisk Den? Fairly certain I can come up with something to counter that, right?
All right, guys, we're ready to go in this final best of 3. Barracks and Shine duke it out. One survives to the round of 8. The other one is out. It won't be until an ASL. At least until next year. And we start this on Odyssey. Wow, okay.
Oh,
yeah.
Look at that. Nice.
I actually wasn't looking at the maps initially as we were hopping into this. That's kind of cool.
Well, we have Barracks in the top right there. And Shine in the bottom left.
Now,
yeah, Odyssey is that's a cool first map. I'm kind of excited about this because Shine is, quite creative on maps like this.
Yeah, I mean, at this point in time, I feel like Shine is probably our most creative player in ASL. Is that fair to say?
Oh, without a doubt.
I mean,
oh yeah, yeah. Who could you
no, I don't know. I mean, like maybe Mini, but like not even really. Like,
yeah, okay, no, that's fair. Like Mini's pretty damn creative.
But I mean, Shine just kind of doing stuff that I think we can remind everybody that there are a lot of things you can do with Zerg. I think sometimes people see Zerg and they think of it as, so straightforward, but like, and then when you think of like, aggro play, you think of like Ling all-ins or like Hydra Bus versus Protoss, but then Shine will show us just bizarre mid-game techs that are super exciting.
It really catches you a lot of the time with the mind games.
So Barracks is going to go with a depot on low ground into a Barracks on low ground. And Shine is going for an extremely...
That's an overpool right there.
Okay. Does this happen a lot
not
in this
as
matchup?
Common in this matchup.
Okay.
No, not really. It's pretty rare. Like 9 pool, you'll see sometimes. It's not really considered that great. 12 pool is actually a build that has some validity as a very fast muta build. But yeah, I mean, normally it is hatch first. I guess we'll see what the overpool is going to do. It's definitely going to be like a weird timing, but against a wall like this, I mean, Lings literally can't do damage. It's just impossible. You will just defend it so easily.
Yeah, is the overpull like a safety mechanism against, you know, proxy racks or any kind of aggression like that, or like what?
Yeah, it can be. Yeah, like I mean, I think you look at it the same as you would in ZVP, where yeah, this will stop you from dying to like a proxy racks or something like that, but. Like even in Zerg vs Protoss, like didn't this build kind of go away a little bit? Isn't hatchery first more popular now than overpool?
No, overpool is like you see it all the time. You have overpool.
No, screw you, Tastosis. It's more popular. Hatchery first is more popular, you dummy.
No, no. I mean, you usually encounter pool first. I feel like more than you encounter hatchery first, even. Huh. It's just well, it's a good build.
It's not very popular against Terran, honestly. It's like when I see overpool, I'm like, it'll be this weird game where the Lings come. I'm like, that's not 9 pool.
Yeah,
that's not 12 pool. Is that overpool? Like, what are you doing?
What's happening here?
Yeah.
He's got the SCV wall here to you know plug this up. Lings can't get through, as you can see here now. No Lings are killed. Little thing to take note of there. The SCV was not killed, right? On the map. I think it's still out in the middle there.
Yeah, it cut out.
Okay.
It cut out. Yeah, it wiggled its way past everything and is back out on the map. And I guess the Lings are coming back probably to try to prevent any more scouting. That one drone is attacking the cannon at that back third base. So Shine looking like he does want to take that expansion. And yeah, let's see what Shine's plan is. Like this is a super late layer that we're going to see. That's for sure.
Okay, so he's going to get his third base over here. The SCV is going to scout it. It's always important to scout, you know, everything you can, but it's even more important, honestly, to just do that versus Shine, because any little bit of data you can get is going to be important.
Okay, can I throw out like an idea here?
Yeah, please.
Other than my idea I already threw out that you shot down about overpool not being as popular anymore in ZVP. I think you're wrong, though. No, but seriously, think about this for a second. Like, what if you scouted Shine less? Because you see, like, for instance, the game Light played against him here, that Shine should have won. If Light just wasn't scouting much and just did, like, a blanket build, like, maybe he would have been in better shape. You know what I mean? Because Shine is throwing you for a loop so much that gaining more information he uses against you.
Yeah, I do see what you're saying, and maybe you're right. Like, the thing is that if you don't, you know, look, I'm actually a guy, I scout fairly early. I scout after a gateway, and I've used to scout later, and like I do, you know. This trend seems to have gone down a little bit of people that just don't scout. There was like a whole period like a couple of years ago in ASL where it's like people just didn't scout, or they'd scout with like their Dragoon or Zealot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I do think we're in a phase now where you do need to get some intel, even against Shine, because like, okay, if you don't scout Shine, here's the thing: what if he just goes like one base lurker? You know what I'm talking about? Like,
totally.
Like, I mean. The issue is that, you know, he's always playing weird, so you almost are trying to confirm that he's not doing the most extreme things that a Zerg can do. And I think that's what has made him so good, is he did a lot of one-base crazy all-ins and stuff like that early on, and now he's mostly mid-game weird tech cheese. You know, but I think that, you know, for how crazy he is with his play style, I think that a lot of these players are just like, dude, I just need to make sure. Like, did he take a natural? You know, is there anything really weird I need to watch for here? A stim in here, and the Lings are going to be hit by the Fire Bat. I think, actually, this was, like, literally the most perfect pairing ever. And Shine.
Yes.
GG. Okay.
Well.
That was, like, he came in for a fight.
Anticlimactic.
He came in for an engagement, and then he took Shine's head right off.
Yeah, the Sunkens were not quite timed out correctly.
So,
if he has 3 finished, that doesn't happen.
So, you know, I have a good metaphor for this. You know how, like, you should never punch somebody because you technically could kill them. Like, people don't usually die from punches, but you could be punched in the. You could punch someone in the head and they would fall and hit their head and die. That's what happened there. Barracks just came out and punched him and it killed him, man. He's going to jail for manslaughter now. He thought he was trying to prove his masculinity, and then that's what happened.
Well, Shine should have not been such a little wimp there, I guess. He should have had that third sunken ready,
man.
Yeah. Well, I guess that really shows you why Overpool shouldn't be used,
That's
doesn't
right.
it?
Yeah, it's how embarrassing. Nemesis for game 2. Hopefully Shine can recover, and we have to have a better game than that, because that was easily the worst and most anticlimactic game of all the ASL games we've ever cast.
Yeah, it was a bit sad. This one has to be better than that. All right, we have Barracks in the bottom right here. And in the top right, we have Shine. Wait a minute.
Okay.
It's four-pulling tasteless. Oh, I was going to say stuff and analyze, but you know what? Sometimes the best build is just a 4-pull.
Yeah, I love it too. It's not even a 5-pull. He's like, no, I get there 5 seconds faster with this.
Of course. Why would you want to get there 5 seconds slower with a better economy? That's silly. You're going to do it. Let's do it.
Pool, about a second late. I'm only remarking on that because, you know, this is a build that will come down to fractions of a second. Now let's watch Barracks and see what he does and where he makes his stuff. And no.
He's making a wall. Yep. In fact, this is a forward 8 racks. Oh, that's crazy. Dude, so this is a forward 8 racks. He'll build, based on the positioning of this, it's very likely his depot is going to be built out in front of his natural. So basically, everything of value is out here in weird spots. Like, this will come down to him trying to micro back one Marine and then a second Marine and have most of his SCVs up fighting.
So I believe you send the Lings across like diagonally until the Overlord ends up seeing where Barracks is. Actually,
that would be the best hedge.
Yeah, I believe that's the best hedge. I think actually, he's just going to get there. The Overlord's going to see this. He can make a hard turn over to the side here.
You're right. He's going to get there before the Lings go too far in any direction.
Now,
that depot is actually helping him immensely.
And the Lings are going to end up going around the SCV, I think. So watch closely. Oh, no, he sees 2. Okay, so... Oh, look, did you see his face?
And Barracks is like, oh,
Barracks' eyes
no.
got all built. He's like, what?
Yeah, so he needs to get this up, and he can't let Lings into his main. Like, there is a lot that Barracks has to do here defensively. Here we go. The SCVs almost all coming. He has 2 SCVs mining in his main base. 2 Marines are out.
Oh, God.
And the Lings get 1, and the Lings get 2.
No, Barracks.
And on to game 3.
Yeah, he can run back out here and just kill the Marines before they can get back. He's going to try to get one more over here, but, you know, the Marine is just, it's not a nimble unit compared to the Zergling, and it's just so easy to body block. And we're going to go to game 3.
And he is just going to, yeah. Oh, my God.
Right.
Just
Shine,
completely catches Barracks
Shine
here.
is the ultimate gamer. GG.
Dude, he literally just won with a 4-pool. He's literally, he's on elimination point, right, in the round of 16. He hasn't been to the round of 8 in quite a few seasons.
Yeah.
Like a lot of seasons, man. And he's on elimination point. He's like, you know what I need to do here? And I'm like, do you need to do the first build order anyone ever made?
Yeah.
He's like, yes. That's exactly what
We're
going
to go back to, you know, the Jurassic period of build orders here. This is around when humans learned how to cook meat with fire. It was like, this is just funny, man.
Literally 1998.
Literally 1998. Like first week the game came out, people realized we could just mine, don't make any drones. make the spawning pool, make the Zerglings and attack them. And
yeah,
look at Mr. Fancy Pants Barracks. He's like, I'll put my barracks over here, and then I'll have my depot here to defend my base. And then the Lings just come and kill him. Butter 2. 2 sticks of butter, guys. This is the final map of the evening. Let's close this out and see what other crazy stuff Shine's going to do, and if Barracks will be ready or not.
Please give me another 4.
I was thinking that too. I'm like, what if he did that again?
That would be the funniest thing ever, especially if it won. Let's see. No, he made it Tron.
Okay.
You can always cancel that, though.
Yeah, or you can make a 5 pool.
That's the style points.
5 pool's not bad either.
Oh. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Let's see. There's 5 pool. There's 4 pool, 5 pool. There are 7
no
pools.
one's 6 pools
Nobody's
anymore.
6 pools. And I don't think anybody...
6 pool was a big thing way back, like 15 years ago.
Yep. What was the rationale with that? Just because you had the 2 extra drones? That, like, you could still kind of play the economy game?
Well, you made the Lings, I guess, without getting supply blocked or something.
I have
you
no
make 3
idea.
sets of Lings and you have 9 supply. I can't recall exactly. It's so long ago that was a popular
And then there's
thing.
some 7 pool speed Ling plays that are weird, that are modern. Nobody 8 pools. Or wait.
Yeah, no, I guess not.
Yeah, or maybe people normally do 8 pool, 9 pool, or I don't know. No, I think
I don't
everybody-
think so.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't know.
Yeah, 9 pool's the thing, not 8 though. There's overpool. Apparently, is still used
Yeah.
in CVP.
Who would have thought that?
That's crazy.
And then Shine. I mean, it looks like it's going to be, a hatchery over here at the natural, a complete reversal. You know, as far as what happened in game 1. It's so funny to see Shine do the 4 pull there. He really, you know, it's funny.
Dude,
every time I get ready to cast his games, I've always tried to, like, not type, what am I trying to say here? I've tried to not pigeonhole people. Typecasting. Yeah, I think that's the word I was looking for. Because, you know, all these guys, they do have big ranges of play. But, man, we're always right about Shine, dude. He's always doing something cheesy. It's like he's got such a reputation for it. But even today, when we're starting this cast, I'm kind of, like, easing my way into it. I'm like, well, like, he could play normal. Like, if you go back and look at the early part of the cast, we're like, well, I mean, he could play normal too, guys. Like, I'm not saying he only does this, but then he just keeps only doing it. It's so cool.
Will he only do it again? It's looking like it. No gas or anything. 3 hatch once again, perhaps, with that Hydralisk down. Could be.
Yeah, we don't see the 3rd hatch yet, but we don't see a gas either, so it's going to probably be that 3rd hatchery. Barracks is going for a very good fast expand build. It's minimal infrastructure. It's a wall, and then just, you know, expands. You know, Shine has shown everything except for normal mute attack here. He's gone for lurkers on, you know, low ground versus Mong. Great control game. He's gone for mutas, but immediately really into guardians. It wasn't really much of a muta harass at all.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still a lot he can do here.
If he goes mutas this time, that's going to be, I guess, really an ultimate mind game. Definitely not something you would expect. And honestly, on 3 hatch, I feel like the muta play is not quite as strong anyways, because everyone goes quick eBay against this. We don't actually see yet. That might be a 2nd Barracks, actually, as opposed to the quick eBay. Like, this might actually... I am going to go ahead and say I think Barracks has chosen a really good build. Because 3 hatchery play runs up against quick +1 a lot. You can still do Academy Rush against it, though. And you get a lot of time on the map before anything is really out for Zerg. So, like, if Shine were to do something very cheesy, like a Ling attack, or if Shine were to sneak another base, these would be great situations for Barracks' opener. But since it's like 3 hatch in the main, you can't count on this doing damage.
Yeah, I like what you laid out here, Tastosis. I think it's pretty smart. I mean, This is, I think, an appropriate way to try to approach a build like this. Now, again, when you see the 3 hatchery play here, if you guys have been following since we started the cast here of Group A, Shine seems to have this interesting pattern where he opens up 3-hatch layer and then den. Although I don't see the den yet, do you?
No, I certainly don't.
Okay, so perhaps this will be
like he should be making a spire by now. Where is it? There it is.
Spire
and there's a den.
God, he's so tricky.
I don't like the placement. I don't like the placement, Tastosis. But the placement might actually be purposeful. First off, when you're in there already and the layer's done and there's no Hydralisk Den, you actually discount Lurker because it's so slow at that point.
Yeah, this is an inefficient teching setup. But, I mean, this is what Shine does so well. You could really learn a lot about how pro gamers think, and like Shine seems to be like an expert on how pro gamers think. He's like,
for sure.
What's that TV show where like they interview serial killers to try to figure out what their like manhunt or whatever? That's like what he does. Okay, so this time it did not work.
Oh, pulls that back, catches the reinforcements as well, so that's really nice. Oh, he actually canceled the Hydralisk Den.
So
okay,
tricky, man.
He is all over the place with this.
Yeah, was it Mindhunter? Was that the name of the show, right?
Yeah.
So, Spire comes anyways. Now, did that get scanned? Is that what happened? Did he see the den and so then he cancels it afterwards?
I'm really unsure, honestly.
Yeah, I guess we just won't get to know.
I'm not sure if he scanned it or not.
Yeah.
I don't know why we're doing that, because on Brood War you can't actually tell what someone's seen.
Oh, that's funny.
Okay, he scans.
This means it's our StarCraft 2 observer working today. He's like, oh, I know what to do. It's like, that's not how the game works.
Yeah, unfortunately. This is a hole
Looks
in the
like
observing
Shine's playing
capability
today.
of
We had to
StarCraft
get
1.
somebody else to obs this. By the way, for those who didn't know, Shine, I don't know, is he still obsing for GSL? I actually don't know.
Yeah, I think he still observes most days for GSL.
Yeah, he's the main observer for StarCraft. That's like his job, along with doing this. But then he's.
I think he normally does not do it for ASL though.
I think that's right, or I think he did for one season. I'm not sure. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyways, just seeing our observer do that, I'm like, well, that's one of the StarCraft 2 observers here today.
All right, so let's talk about this position. Now, I think in theory, Shine's position is better than Barracks' here, but is he going to be able to make that work? Because he actually went 3-hatch Muta. The +1 is not particularly fast, and it's so the Mutas actually, when you hit with these on 3-hatch, you actually can go after turrets like you're seeing, because you just have more. You have a bigger economy, and you have more Mutas than your first swipe. So Barracks is actually pushing out the map, where Shine is getting a ton of counter damage. So all this comes down to if Barracks can do something with this push.
This push is coming out, man. And the Lings, the Mutas, everything's going to come back here to try to take it. Now, Barracks might be too far away from home to return here, depending on if he engages these sunks or not.
Dude, I don't like it at all. Like, the Queen's Nest is so perfectly placed.
Yep.
He doesn't have enough bio. The Mutas came out in time. He lost a lot of SCVs in there. That's, like, very annoying.
Yeah.
I like Shine's spot here. Like, honestly, this is a pretty normal 3-hatch Mutalisk Zergling play. And I think that he's gotten himself into a great spot. Barracks is roaming for a base that literally doesn't exist, and Shine is going to counterattack him. What do you do here?
I mean, not a lot, dude. He's going to have to keep the Marines behind this egg over here on the side. He needs to have some cover, but this means all these Lings can just kill off the turrets. So, like, this is bad, dude. I think Shine's going to probably
Shine's
win.
got it straight up.
Yeah. He just has too much here. You know, Shine is just a master at keeping people off of their second base. And, you know, I don't think we've had a Zerg that's successfully dislodged a Terran on 2 base this often, but I guess we've really seen it all here. He does overcommit with the Mutas, though.
Yeah, that was definitely a little bit of a mistake. But the amount of damage he's done is really significant. He's killed a lot of Marines. He's killed a lot of SCVs.
Yeah.
All those turrets died. Look, he's got plenty of sunken, so he literally doesn't have to worry about ever being busted again. And he's already on Hive. I know that he doesn't have a lot of gas. That's definitely something to mention. Well, he has a good bank of gas because he hasn't been making more mutas. Like, a lot of Zergs would just have 8 more mutas right now and be like, oh, I don't know. But with Shine, like, I guess from here he can just, like, go into the Defiler Lurker?
Yeah, I think that's what he wants to do. I mean, even though he a lot of this game was kind of normal, he's once again kind of shifted very quickly where he's going to get the Hive. He's going to have Lurkers out very fast. You know, the Hive usually comes later. The Hive usually doesn't come until you have a 3rd gas at least. But, you know, if all Zerg players drive automatic in their macro builds, Shine is a stick shift. Like, he'll just make the mutas stop, hit the gas for the Lurkers, like, stop, make the, get the Hive. Dude. It's, like, very funny to watch.
He's 3 donkeys in a wagon, okay? Like,
yeah.
He really has his own way about it. A very stubborn, different approach.
If all StarCraft Zerg players are airplanes, like, he's a Zeppelin, it's like, well, okay. Like, this does fly. This does, it's all right.
The funny thing is here, he's, like, actually just outplayed Barracks with a pretty standard issue play. He's definitely way ahead right now.
If all Zerg players rode horses, he's actually riding on a Raptor. It's got like lasers and stuff on it.
Oh my god!
There was some cartoon I used to watch as a kid that had people fighting with dinosaurs and.
Really?
Yeah, it was super cool, man. It just made me think of that. Anyways, that's not important.
Damn.
Point in the case is that Shine's just built different.
He's built different for sure.
Yeah,
he's got to get that Red Bull sponsorship. Now, yeah, he's really far ahead. The starport is super late for Barracks here. He doesn't have anything really good to fight this with. Like, he kind of needs Shine to start throwing a little bit. Look at this. The Defiler is coming. He doesn't have an Irradiate ready, to put this in perspective. And there's, like, already a Defiler on the way to his base.
Now,
This is truly terrible.
Yeah, no, this is pretty bad, man. Shine going to come around with these Lings and Lurkers. Now, all he has to do is get the Defiler over here and start to Dark Swarm in that natural, and it's going to be terrible.
I don't know how you hold on here.
I don't
like
think you can.
As soon as Dark Storm goes down, you have to back up from it. He's actually, Shine is going around the very long way, it looks like, to really sneak his way in, because this is the right way to do it, Zerg.
Yeah.
Why push in through the front where you can sneak in through the side and surprise him with a Dark Storm? Honestly, he doesn't have to do this. It is a good tactic. Like, he's going to win either way. He's so far ahead here.
Yeah, here we go. Wow, the Barracks bunker, I mean, is just empty. He just gets right in there. Oh, my God. Oh, and this command center is actually very low. He needs to lift this off.
Not going to have usage of the scanners, doesn't really have any way to break through there. He's got this central force, which can prevent reinforcements. But Shine now is on 3 gases. He's up 15 supply. He's got better production.
Every time I watch Shine play, I'm like, oh, I think I can play Zerg. Like, I think I got this. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, that's what I...
Yeah.
I, like, look at all the best Zergs in the world, and they, like, have to, like, try to get that other hatch up in their main and block the ramp with eggs. And I look at Shine, I'm like, no, this guy's the way I want to play the game. Like, this is what I want to do.
Well, it does look easy in a way, right? Like, his mutas just flew in and killed turrets, and then he had Sunkens at home. And then when the Marines came home and he engaged, he got 2 good swipes and lost half of them. It's like, okay, well, we're missing a lot of the things that make other Zergs good, but we fill it in.
Yeah, man. The Lurkers are going to get closer and closer and closer to the Barracks here. This game's almost over. Dude, Shine, just a legend, man. He's so good.
A legend.
He's a legend,
100%.
dude. I mean, the games he brought today and the play styles and winning with the 4-pool and then going Guardians versus Light. And I mean, I don't know, man. You got to appreciate this guy. There's no other player that's quite like him.
And here's the thing. There's, like, not that many Terrans left in the tournament, which I think is the hardest matchup for him in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
You give him a Protoss in the round of 8, perhaps? I could see him taking that.
Oh, yeah. No, I 100% agree with you, Tastosis. Yeah.
Then he's in the round of 4, and you give him a Zerg, and I'm like, huh, you know what? we could get Shine in the finals again.
Oh my God!
I don't see him necessarily winning the tournament, but I tell you, he's putting it out. Look at this. He's got 3 hatches over there. Oh my God, Barracks is just so dead.
Yeah,
he knows it too. I'm not sure why he's still in the game.
Well, it's a little bit of cope here, man. This is brutal. We should be seeing GG shortly. I mean, he's just going to kill off everything else that's on the map here for Terran. And look, I mean, that main base, it's going to mine out if it's not almost there already. And this is a bottleneck. And the factory is going to have to come here and land to make a tank to shoot the lurkers. They'll even let him get into his base. I mean, this is just, this is over, man.
Oh, that's so silly.
Oh,
look, he's stealing the command center. This is the right move.
Oh, we did it.
This is the right move right there.
That was for the gamers.
Make infested Terrans now. Land it and make them.
One.
He really should, because there's literally no chance of him losing. Honestly, like, if you're on the ladder, 100% you're getting Naga'd here as Terran.
Oh, absolutely. Like, Parasite. Dude, he's just dominating. Dude, he's styling on him. He's twerking on him, dude.
Oh my God!
Did you see the new She-Hulk movie or whatever, where she like twerks in the meeting?
No.
Oh God!
I didn't.
It's actually like that GG. Okay.
Oh
wow!
No,
And Sean, yes, he's got to be happy about that. Winning with style too, man.
He really did.
That's right.
And you can see how happy he is there on his face. He prepared really well for today. There's no question about that. There was a lot of mind games going on. I think he had to do a lot of this on the fly, because you can't plan out games this complicated from A to Z. You can have general ideas, but what a well-played group from Shine. I'm actually so happy for him right now, Tasteless. This is one less Terran in the next round that I thought I was going to have there, but I am so happy for Shine and what he put out there today.
Yeah, this was fun. What a fun ending to this. And we had an infested Terran get started. That counts, right? Didn't come out yet, but
it's in fact, some would say it was bad manner of Barracks to leave before the infested Terran came
really,
out.
We should have let the infested Terran run and do its, what, 400, 500 damage explosion?
500!
500. Wow. The unit you would forget for years at a time exists in the game. All right, interview time.
ASL 시즌 14 16강 A조 경기 모두 함께 하셨습니다. 오늘의 두 번째 8강 진출자 저그 이영환 선수와 함께 하겠습니다. 축하드립니다.
아, 네, 감사합니다.
시즌 3 준우승 이후에 5년 만에 8강 진출이신데요. 정말 어마어마한 준비력과 경기력을 바탕으로 이런 또 한 번의 기회를 만들어내셨습니다. 세레머니까지 정말 인상적이었는데요. 어떤 의미였나요? 손가락 하나를 이렇게 찍혀 올리시던데.
원래 공격 잡으려면 딱 한 타이밍을 봐야 되거든요.
네.
제가 그 상대 병력 빠진 거 보고 뮤탈 저글링으로 뒷방 가면 한 타이밍 있겠구나 싶어가지고 그걸 노렸다는 걸 좀 의미했던 것 같고, 오늘 게임이 전체적으로 좀 딱 한 번밖에 기회가 없었어요, 공격 타이밍이. 그래서 사실 승자전 지고 나서도 좀 많이 아쉬웠었는데 그래도 좀 멘탈 부여잡고 마지막 경기에 집중했던 것 같아요.
오늘 이영환 선수가 테란전으로 보여줬던 모습들, 기본적으로는 3회 처리 운영을 보여주셨지만
네.
그 안에서 디테일들이 굉장히 다채로웠습니다. 하나하나 좀 짚어보고 싶은데, 윤찬희 선수와의 첫 번째 경기에서는 럴커 드랍까지 하는 듯한 모습으로 시간을 끌고 이 챔버 업그레이드를 하셨어요. 후반 운영을 보여주셨거든요.
네.
사실 많이 먹는 테란을 상대로 더 안정적으로 하겠다라는 좀 의지가 느껴졌는데 어떻게 준비를 하셨나요?
일단 제가 드랍 그런 이미지가 너무 강해가지고 오버로드 소갑을 좀 보여주게 되면은 상대 입장에서 좀 과잉 방어를 할 것 같다라고 생각했었고, 상대가 방어할 때 좀 많은 자원을 바탕으로 이제 물량 게임을 하자는 생각을 했었는데 그게 좀 잘 맞아 떨어졌던 것 같아요.
이재호 선수와의 승자전 1세트는 승리를 거두셨지만 2세트, 3세트 패배하면서 아쉽게 최종전으로 내려가셨어요. 이 첫 번째 세트 같은 경우는 이재호 선수가 원원원 전략을 선택을 하셨는데 이 배럭이 늘기 직전 타이밍, 그때도 한 타이밍을 좀 노리셨던 건가요?
원래 3회 처리는 진짜 딱 그 타이밍밖에 없어요. 1AD가 한 방밖에 없는 그 타이밍 때 뮤탈로 게임을 끝내려고 뮤탈 찍었으면 끝내야 되거든요. 거기서 막혔으면 아마 그냥 게임 졌을 거예요. 그래서 진짜 딱 그 한 번 절멸 타이밍에 히드라랑 같이 딱 가는 그게 포인트였어요.
두 번째 세트도 패배했지만 좀 여쭤보고 싶은 것들이 있는데요.
네.
가디언을 꺼내 드셨어요. 사실 이거 무조건 뚫겠다라고 생각했던 게 이 막히는 순간에 디파일러까지 등장을 하면서 이영환 선수가 이거는 무조건 100% 뚫을 수 있겠다라는 확신을 가지지 않았을까라는 생각을 했거든요.
사실 디파일러는 좀 집중해서 한 거고 제가 빼면 안 됐었어요. 상대 본진 갔을 때 그냥 들어갔으면 끝나는 상황이었는데 그거 타이밍 못 잡아가지고 이제 상대한테 기회를 줬고 그래서 상대가 이제 2일업 찍으면서 게임 자체가 좀 많이 불리했던 것 같아요.
오늘 정말 내리 테란전만 하셨는데 준비하면서 어떻게 좀 마인드 스토밍을 하셨는지도 브레인스토밍을 하셨는지도 좀 궁금해요.
일단 오디세이라는 맵 자체가 좀 전략을 쓸 수 있는 요소가 많아가지고 그렇게 컨셉을 잡았던 것도 있고 이제 기존의 테란들이 이제 알레그로랑 버터를 되게 좋아해요. 저그전 유리하다. 근데 이런 식으로 좀 방어물럭하면 언덕이 많은 맵이기 때문에 오히려 저가 좋은 요소가 많거든요. 그래서 좀 테란들이 생각지 못한 그런 저그의 좀 유리한 부분을 좀 파악해서 빌드를 짰던 게 오늘 승리가 주요했던 것 같아요.
많은 분들이 이전에 이영환 선수는 참신한 빌드는 갖춰져 있지만 다른 것들이 조금은 부족해서 패배가 이어지지 않았나라고 말씀하셨다면 오늘 같은 경우에는 이영환 선수 이번 시즌 참신한 전략에 이에 걸맞는 컨트롤과 그리고 운영까지 보여주고 있다라고들 말씀을 하셨어요. 정말 점점 더 강해지고 있다는 거 본인도 스스로 좀 느껴지시나요?
원래 제가 테란전 약체였던 게 후반 운영이 좀 많이 약해가지고 디파일러 관련된 좀 운영 능력이 좀 많이 부족한 모습 많이 보여줬는데 오늘 제가 프로게임 하면서 가장 디파일러를 잘 쓴 날이지 않을까 싶을 정도로 게임이 잘 돼가지고 저도 좀 많이 놀랬고 운이 좀 많이 따랐던 것 같아요.
많은 선수들이 이제 이영환 선수를 얼마나 겁내할지도 굉장히 기대가 됩니다. 시즌3 때 준우승 이후에 이렇게 정말 다시 한번 찾은 소중한 기회잖아요.
네.
목표가 어떻게 되실까요?
일단 예선 24강 16강은 계속 이제 다음 라운드 진출하는 게 목표였었는데 8강 토너먼트에 진입했으니까 여기서는 더 제 장점을 부각시킬 수 있기 때문에 우승 목표로 달려보겠습니다.
이영환 선수가 5년 만에 준비하는 다전제 또 어떤 반짝이가 나올지 굉장히 기대됩니다. 오늘 늦은 시간까지 함께해 주셨는데 시청자분들 그리고 현장의 팬분들이 정말 많이 계시거든요. 감사 인사 한마디 해주시죠.
일단 너무 오랫동안 기다려주신 제 팬분들이 있거든요. 뒤늦게라도 이렇게 보여드릴 수 있어서 너무 고맙고 또 현장에 또 응원해준 이제 바스포드 학생들도 있고 친한 BJ들도 있는데 너무 고맙고 제가 군복무 끝나고 처음으로 이제 도전하는 ASL인데 새로운 대학에서 좀 좋은 기운을 많이 받기도 하고 또 물씬 양면 이제 감스트 이사장님이 뒤에서 많이 챙겨주시거든요. 게임 외적으로나 멘탈적으로도 많이 챙겨주고 대학대전 하면서도 살짝 저한테 얘기하시더라고요. 그래도 바스포드에서 우승자 한 명 나왔으면 좋으니까 이제 좀 잘 해가지고 이왕 하는 김에 잘해보자라고 얘기하셨는데 그런 좀 응원이 되게 큰 힘이 돼가지고 오늘 끝까지 집중력이 발휘됐던 것 같아요.
실력이 뒷받침된 또 동료들과 팬분들의 응원에 힘입어 자신감까지 차오른 이영환 선수 다음 라운드에서 또 어떤 멋진 모습을 보여줄지 기대하도록 하겠습니다. 진출 축하드립니다.
네, 감사합니다.
자, 이렇게 오늘의 두 번째 8강 진출자 저그 이영환 선수와 함께했습니다.
This was fun, guys. I'm glad we're in the round of 16 now. So cool to see Shine move on. Of course, Light, I think the big threat to take the entire ASL Season 14 here. You do not want to count him out. Mong and Barracks had a good showing. I especially feel bad for Barracks. I mean, what a dramatic day for him. But ultimately, look, Light and Shine are just better players.
That's certainly true for now, but I think Barracks is still on the rise, and I think he's shown a lot of growth this season, really finding his own style. So I'm looking forward to him next time. Our next group, Group B, this is going to be a fun one. People are really looking forward to this. Bisu, Sock, Rush, Best. Look at that lineup, man. Some sick Terran versus Protoss action. These are some of the best TVPs you can literally get.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, look, I think we could have some cool mirror matchups in here as well, depending on how things kind of pan out. But probably going to be a PvT deep dive, if I had to guess here, man. Who gets out? Maybe Bisu Rush? But, Saki cannot be underestimated. Best, I don't know what it is with Best. He doesn't seem to perform as well in ASLs. I hope that changes. But, this is going to be a lot of fun, man. We're going to get quite the range of play here for that.
No, it's a great group. I cannot wait for it. Could be a very long one as well. I know today was I thought honestly today would be a bit longer, but our TVT matches were super fast.
Yeah, a little bit quicker than I was expecting as well. I thought we might have another hour on our hands here, but some very explosive TVTs at that. Guys, that's all the time we have here today. If you love us and love what we're doing, go to patreon.com/ASL English. and you could support us there. We'll have Group B up ASAP. We love you guys. Take care. Bye-bye.
I'll be your